N'Golo Kante, Gonzalo Higuain and Eden Hazard all come into the team, in addition to Pedro, Mateo Kovacic, David Luiz, Jorginho and Kepa. We expect it to be a 4-3-3 formation with Kepa in goal, Azpilicueta, Luiz, Rudiger and Emerson across the back, Jorginho, Kante and Kovacic in midfield, Higuain up front, flanked either side by Hazard and Pedro. Wolves making 5 changes to the team that beat Cardiff 2-0 in the Premier League. 3-5-2 formation for the visitors, we expect, with Rui Patricio in goal, Willy Bowley, Raman Saiss and Conor Cody at the back, Matt Doherty and Johnny Otto the wing backs, with Jean Moutinho, Leonardo Dendoncker and Ruben Neves supporting Diogo Jota, and the informal Raul Jimenez up front. The changes are Patricio, Doherty and Otto, plus Moutinho and Neves. The subs for Chelsea: Ross Barkley, Olivier Giroud, Willian and Andreas Christensen drop down to the bench, where they join Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Willy Caballero and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Zappacosta and Alonso the players who drop out at the match day 18. The Wolves subs onto it are Ruben Vinagre, John Ruddy and Morgan Gibbs-White, plus Helder Costa, Ivan Caballero, Adama Traore and Max Kilman. There's no Ryan Bennett, who is suspended. Those are the lineups. Sam, what do you see as the strengths and weaknesses of the two teams?
Well, I'll start with the visitors, actually. I think they've got a number of players with a brilliant range of passing. I think that's been a feature of their game this season. Cody, obviously, is the deeper of the 3 centre-half, but he can get on the ball and he can turn defence into attack so quickly. Likewise, Neves, and that's why, you know, the 2 wing-backs, the flying wing-backs in Doherty and Johnny, as it is today, they will be a threat for Chelsea because they switch the play very intelligently. But playing a 3-5-2 now as opposed to a 3-4-2-1 as it was early part of the season, I don't know, they played through the lines quite well and had real pace on the counter. Maybe today, and because Chelsea will have the lion's share of possession, it'll be a little bit more direct from Wolves. I think that's what maybe you get with the 3-5-2 and Jimenez in the side in particular. Chelsea, a lot quicker. You know, the Sarri ball, I think we've all been kind of questioning what it is the early part of the season. I think we're seeing it now. You know, players always having 2 or 3 options on the ball, moving it quickly in tight little spaces, intricate passing, and the man that we were just seeing on the monitor there, Higuain, giving them a new lease of life at the top end of the pitch. His movement, yes, he's not electric, but on the shoulder of the centre halves, and that telepathic understanding that he's got with Jorginho, I think that's been really evident in the first few games together. He's really excited me in his performances. It's not something maybe that really catches the eye of the neutral, but for someone who studies the centre forwards, I really enjoy watching him.
We're underway on Premier League Live. It was a windy and wet day. At least the sun is out temporarily in West London. It's still breezy out there though, which is going to make playing conditions tricky. And it's a bit wet and muddy underfoot as well after some horrible weather earlier. Chelsea kicking from right to left in the first half from our Premier League Live vantage point in their traditional all blue and with white socks today. Wolves attacking from left to right in their gold tops, gold socks, black shorts and a bit of black trim across the rest of their kit. Michael Oliver is our referee. It is 6th versus 7th. Chelsea have played less games, they've got substantially more points, but you never know. As Sammy Parkin said in the build-up to this one, it was Wolves who won the return fixture on December the 5th at Molineux 2-1. They've not done the double over Chelsea in the league since 1974-75, the year that Chelsea were relegated. Can they repeat history now, or can Chelsea continue to build this little mini Maurizio Sarri resurgence? It's Chelsea on the ball at the moment. Cultured pass through from David Luiz as far as Higuain. It'll turn from Higuain as far as the right edge of the penalty area. Finds Eden Hazard on his shoulder. Azpilicueta is the extra man on the far side, who's immediately closed down. Chelsea just forced back as Wolves press and try to edge their way out of defence, and the Blues inside the Wolves half are happy to come again. Luiz to Kovacic to Emerson on this near side, and Chelsea seeing plenty of the ball so far, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, that was a brilliant pass from David Luiz, and Pedro does that well, coming in field off the right hand side and getting into pockets of space. The one surprise, Higuain not pulling the trigger. 25 yards out, 30 yards out. He's got tremendous power in that right boot, and he just turned down that opportunity early stages, of course.
We're seeing Wolves, aren't we, just close down a lot of space at the moment, a lot of running and just trying to hassle and harry and deny Chelsea time. Another quarterback style pass over the top from Luiz, not as successful as the first one. This one's overhit and out of play, but maybe that's Wolves' tactic at the moment, to try and just get into Chelsea's faces and deny them that opportunity.
Yeah, they've been brilliant in the away games against the big clubs. I saw them actually at Wembley, and it was a phenomenal away performance. But they do sit in a little bit. I think they'll get after the ball, they'll retreat a little bit, and then they'll go and press. You won't see the two forwards going and pressing Rudiger and David Luiz, maybe like you would have expected from Wolves last year in the Championship, where they were so high energy and pressing high. I think they'll sit in and hope to use that tactic that I spoke about, Russ, that direct ball of the Neveses and the Cody changing play.
Beautiful play just a couple of moments ago from Higuain, just as Sam said, holding the ball up nicely. Turned Cody, played it out wide to Azpilicueta, who beat one player. In the end, managed to win the throw. Ball stayed in play. Rudiger in as far as Hazard. Shot from distance. A little sharp effort from Mateo Kovacic. Blocked by the Wolves defenders, who again come rushing out and quickly close down the man on the ball. Kovacic having a pop, but just not quite enough space to get that shot away.
No, it's been a good start from Chelsea though. Territorially, they're dictating the proceedings. He needs to start adding more goals, he and Ross Barkley. I think that's it's a bit of a problem position at the moment. They're both doing okay. I don't think in this 4-3-3 okay is enough. They need to be contributing more goals and assists.
Jorginho on the far side tries to slide on through to N'Golo Kante, but Wolves disrupt play effectively, and they get the chance to maybe build for the first time in the game. Jimenez it was, who just came back to assist the midfielders for a second. Ball played forward from Ruben Neves. On the far side, Johnny Otto is more than happy to see it trickle out of play for a throw. The Azpilicueta-Otto battle, I think, will be a very interesting one. Yeah,
I mean, Otto in there today. I think Doherty's been one of the success stories in terms of the players that have stepped up from the Championship. From a promoted side, he's been excellent. And I just worry about Chelsea, their fullbacks. That's another place where I think the upgrade could be coming to play in this Maurizio Sarri system. I think the fullbacks are imperative that they can bomb on and be creators as well as defenders, and that would be something to watch in the summer, I think, for sure.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I think Marcos Alonso's not had his best season, having been excellent for a couple. Azpilicueta, some maybe just slightly coming toward maybe the end of his very, very best, we don't know, but we'll see whether it is 3 at the back, 4 at the back, whether Chelsea do upgrade a little bit in that wide wing-back or full-back role. Chelsea back in possession. Jorginho this time jinks one over the top. Given that windy condition that I mentioned, it's a clever ball actually. Willy Boly slightly beaten in the air as a result. Kante was there snapping at the defender's heels. The ball doesn't fall for the Blues though. Wolves endeavour to counter-attack through Raul Jimenez. He's dispossessed. Rudiger wins it back for Chelsea. Slightly scrappy passage of play, but the Blues come out on top. Here's Eden Hazard. There's a 1-2 with Pedro. Out to the far side, asking too much of Kante and out. These conditions are going to make it hard, aren't they? It is very, very windy out there.
Definitely, you could see from that little lob ball forward, really, and Willy Boly didn't know whether to go and attack it or let it bounce, and the ball held up.
Just looking at the flag actually away to our left, and it's absolutely pelting, isn't it? It's kind of wobbling in the breeze. It's been really, really stretched.
Yeah, I mean, I think conditions played a part to a degree yesterday in all the Premier League games, and again today. I mean, the wind overnight and this morning, we're both relatively local, Russ. It's the conditions are going to be very difficult. More reason to try and zip it around and keep it on the surface.
Absolutely. Took my kids out to a very windy play park for about half an hour today, and then we called it quits and I got ready for the game. Chelsea winning the ball back on the far side. Pedro with a neat little cross, looking for Eden Hazard in the box. Decent defending from Roman Saiss, who, as we know, can play in midfield or at the back. Part of the back three today, and a very good multi-tool player, isn't he?
Yeah, they've recruited well, actually. I think for the year in the Premier League, had a very strong Championship squad last season, but the additions that they've made, I think Bournemouth do that well each year as well, just to progress. And I'm sure Fulham will be looking on.
I was just about to use them as an example. You can overdo it, overtinker and rip the heart out of what got you up, which arguably Fulham did. In fact, there's very little argument about it.
It's a bit of an art in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Identifying the positions just to give you a bit more experience, a bit of a boost for the Premier League days.
And a bit more quality, but without overdoing it. A couple of miles from here at the bridge down at the Cottage, they got it badly wrong, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. Here come Chelsea. Hazard on the edge of the box, found Higuain. Loose ball picked up by Kovacic, who's had a busy start to the game. Strong tackle in the end though from Wolves, who win it back through João Moutinho. Portuguese with a tough tackle, reacted quickly to get there just ahead of Higuaín. Just nibbled at his man and commits the foul. Wolves have got to be very sharp and very reactive in these situations to win the ball back, particularly when they're close to their own penalty area.
Yeah, and it's a system that already you can see, Russ, it's going to be very compact with the three central midfield players, the wing-backs tucking in as well with the back three, just leaving the two up the pitch. It's a different Wolves maybe to what we saw early part of the season. I think away from home they will sit in and soak up the Chelsea pressure and try and very much play on the counter into Jimenez, who is a good focal point for the side, which maybe they lacked at times last season and the early part of this one.
Yeah, Raul Jimenez banging form at the moment. 7 goals, 4 assists in his last 7 Premier League games. 5 goals, 2 assists, 13 for the season. Super player. He really has become Wolves' focal point, but there's plenty of other quality out there as well. Diogo Jota, Ruben Neves, lots of goal threat. And the likes of Cavaleiro can score a goal or 2 on the bench as well. He's got 5 this season. Only used 19 players all season in the Premier League. Wolves by far the least of anybody in the league. Okay, not too many injuries, but a focused nucleus. Certainly done the job for Nuno Espirito Santo. Chelsea back on the attack near Stan's side. Hazard to the edge of the area to Kovacic, who tries to slide it through to Pedro. Slightly overcooked it. Had options either side, and Kovacic couldn't quite find his man, but not a million miles away there.
No, he's a good passer of the ball, just a little bit off of his radar there. But yeah, just going back to what you were saying, Russ, I mean, I think Saiz and Dendoncker, they're 2 players who can play a variety of roles. So yeah, they might not have the deepest squad, but again, his recruitment very sensible. 2 versatile players who have done very well when they've been having to come in for some of the main players that have dropped out through injury or suspension.
Good turn from the man you just mentioned there, the Belgian Dendoncker, who wanted the return ball, didn't get it, looked a bit frustrated, but Wolves' attack continues right underneath our commentary vantage point. Here is the aforementioned Raul Jimenez wearing 9. Out as far as the right wing back, Matt Doherty, back into Dendoncker. Promising move this from Wolves, who've stretched the passage of play from near to far side, just trying to invite Chelsea onto them and just try and free up a little bit of space. Saiz, left-footed, good ball back into Doherty once more, beats his man, runs laterally about 30 yards out. Neves this time, ball out to the far side, not entirely sure he quite meant it, but John Yotto kept it in. Wolves, even though it's a slightly rickety attack, keep hold of the ball, but Chelsea working well without it themselves here.
Yeah, first opportunity really for Wolves to have a passage of play and string some passes together. I think Neves got a bit fortunate. I think he saw a couple of Wolves shirts in the corner of his eye, but fortunately the wind held the ball up and they were able to recycle it. And that's what Cody does there. You know, he's brilliant at that, changing the point of attack with that brilliant range of passes. It's very much what David Luiz does for Chelsea. He's been excellent this year.
Yeah, Conor Cody, of course, people are saying England cap could come for the Scouser. Good friend of Talk Sport, regular guest, and nice story for somebody who's not a young player, what is he, mid-20s now, but had a chance in the Premier League, having done well in the Championship, and really showing that you can evolve and improve your game the tougher the challenge gets if you've got that potential. You've
got to have such a degree of steel as well, Russ. It would have been easy for him to have been replaced by someone from the continent, maybe a slightly better technical footballer, but he's got real determination to see what Nuno Santos has brought into the club and just go, accept it, I'm going to be better, I'm going to keep to be consistent. And he was a midfield player, and dropping back, he's been phenomenal. Much more like it from Chelsea. Lovely interchange of passes to Higuaín, who pulls the trigger this time from 20 yards out, deflected and behind for a corner by the Wolves defence. Chelsea just with a bit of quality and pace into this attack. Pedro slid it through, Hazard the decoy. Shot blocked in the end by Saiz to deny Higuaín. Yeah, both wide forwards coming in field, found by Jorginho Pedro again there, and no hesitation on that occasion from Higuaín getting the strike away. Hazard will take the corner, right-footed, dangerous in-swinger across the edge of the 6-yard box. There's half-hearted appeals for a penalty against Dendoncker, but pretty sure it hit him on the upper thigh region and not his arm. Chelsea for a second looked as if they could be stretched on the counter-attack, and Diogo Jota is down holding the left side of his head. To take a double check at what happened there was certainly a hotly contested ball around the edge of the 6-yard box, wasn't there? Yeah, I mean, Azpilicueta's reaction, I think he feels he's done enough there he's flicked it into a good area, and there's no blue shirt arriving. It's just a sea of gold across the 6-yard box. Wolves able to clear, but it was a slightly scrambled bit of defending from the visitors.
Just looking at the replay on the big screen, nothing in it. Pedro and Jota fighting for the ball, an outstretched hand and no more than a finger across the neck of Jota, who went down like a sack of spuds and got back up in the end, and quite rightly, nothing given against Pedro. 12 minutes played, Premier League Live, Chelsea 0, Wolves 0, at TalkSport Live on social media. Great to have you listening around the world. Please drop us a line wherever you're listening from. Tell us who you think is going to win the game, whether Chelsea are going to make top 4 at the end of the season or not, whether Wolves could get into the Europa League. How much you've been impressed by them this season, your thoughts on the bosses, the players, whatever, at TalkSport Live. Read out the best tweets over the course of the game, wherever you're listening from around the world. Welcome to Stamford Bridge as Chelsea come forward once more. Here's Emerson, their Brazilian left wing back, referred to Alonso in this game. Finds Eden Hazard about 30 yards out. Hazard takes the ball to the edge of the penalty area, where Ruben Neves tracks him well, and again Wolves just hustling and harrying and denying Chelsea time on the ball, sending them back to halfway, edge of the D. Antonio Rudiger, the German. Pedro tries to slide one through to Azpilicueta and out for a throw. Pedro's been in good form of late, hasn't he? Buzzing around.
He has, and it's a big moment for him and, well, all the wide players really. Willian, I think they've got just a year left on their contracts, and obviously Hazard and Hudson-Odoi as well. So there's going to be a lot of upheaval in the summer, I would suggest. There's a number of players out of contract and the uncertainty over those two I just mentioned, but I think Willian and Pedro still show the quality that they've got, although it's been slightly in different seasons for both of them.
Voice of Sam Parkin, the former Chelsea, Ipswich and Swindon striker alongside me. Russell Hargreaves here on Premier League Live. We played nearly 14 minutes 0-0. 6th against 7th, Chelsea and Wolves. Here's Higuain, again thought about the shot, runs across the edge of the penalty area and again holds the ball up well, does Gonzalo Higuain. Jorginho over the top, great delivery. Pedro tries a shot on the half volley, always ambitious from an acute angle, didn't make contact in the end, but worth a go. A neat through ball here.
Yeah, well, that's where Jorginho's improving week by week. That pass is a real feature of his game. Normally it's for the centre forward, but Pedro coming in field again off the left hand side, and he just runs off Neves. Didn't know that he was there in between Cody and Bolly, and just cannot connect with the acrobatic in the end. But that is a real feature of Jorginho's game, and he's getting better and better week by week.
She missed it earlier. Liverpool beating Burnley by 4-2. Sadio Mane and Roberto Firmino with 2 goals apiece. Keeps the title race nice and alive. Battle for top 4 very much alive as well. Chelsea trying to keep pace with Arsenal and Man United. They play later in the third commentary of the day. That's Azpilicueta, ball over the top, overhit. And a combination of Rui Patricio and Matt Doherty. I'm more than happy to see that one trickle out of play for a goal kick. Yeah, fight for top 4 is epic, isn't it? And obviously Chelsea have a game in hand over all of the rest of the teams involved, and I wouldn't rule out Spurs being pulled back and it being a 4-way fight for 2 spots all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea have got a great opportunity. I mean, if the result goes for them later, could be up to 4th at the end of play today. So got a couple of really good looking fixtures coming up. Everton, Cardiff, West Ham, that's the next 3. I don't know, I suppose it's how much the teams are going to be influenced by what happens in Europe, but of course Chelsea's still fighting on that front as well, but maybe not quite at the same level of the Tottenhams and the Manchester Uniteds of this world. And
also with less work to have to do in their second leg rather than Arsenal, which certainly for the next week, if not beyond, will be of great use as well. Chelsea beating Dynamo Kiev 3-0 in their last 16 Europa League first leg. Arsenal, as we know, 3-1 down to Rennes. They've got all the work to do next Thursday. Looking forward to being at that game at Emirates Stadium. Neves does well to just take the ball away from the Chelsea midfield, but his ball forward to Jimenez was disappointing. And David Luiz is more than happy to cut it out to his compatriot Emerson. Eden Hazard has come deep to get the ball up against Doherty. Beats Doherty, beats Jimenez. This is a nice classic Eden Hazard run. Punctured ball out to the right hand side. 1-2 between Pedro and Azpilicueta. Edge of the penalty area. Pedro's still going, slightly fortuitous ricochet. In the end, the ball's come off a Chelsea shirt. It's come back off Hazard for a goal kick. Eden Hazard such a mixed kind of couple of seasons. We've seen gluts of brilliance. Times he looks a little bit unhappy and a bit quiet. Where do you assess him at the moment?
Oh, well, he's in good form. Again, he's come back. I thought he was sensational in that game against Manchester City and again against Tottenham. But it's not been as consistent maybe as some of the seasons we've seen. You know, the season under Conte, when almost single-handedly. That's probably doing Diego Costa a disservice, but yeah, he was phenomenal in that title season. And last year, obviously, had a real dip for his standards, but still, Chelsea's best player by some distance.
Well, stats-wise, he's right up there again this season, directly involved in 23 Premier League goals, 12 goals, 11 assists, and that's his best since his purple season of 2014-15, and he's equalled it again. And as you say, even if the performances aren't as consistent, the spells of brilliance are probably still as brilliant.
Yeah, and it must have been part of Maurizio Sarri's thought process that he was going to potentially turn him into a number 9, and I think there was a couple of signs. There was away at Watford when he got a brace, when he moved like a striker for the first time, but I think he's happier on the left. Russ, he's happy when he can get on the half turn, see the more of the pitch, and play into a central striker. He's got a wonderful relationship with Giroud for one, and hopefully that's going to develop with Higuain as well.
Yeah, signs of that is gelling just a little bit. Tricky, windy conditions taking their toll again as Wolves try and work the ball wide to Johnny Otto. Otto had no chance of keeping that one in play. One before that ballooned and allowed the left wing back to do that very thing. Not on this occasion. 18 minutes played. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0, and a reminder, in just over 2 hours' time, our third commentary of the day is Arsenal-Man United. A belting game. Should be another cracker in this fight for top 4. Can Chelsea do some early damage and put pressure on the others in and around them? Here's N'Golo Kante in a bit of space for once. Lovely through ball to Higuain. Tight angle for Higuain. Shots on target. Rui Patricio had to be alert. Higuain could have pulled it back. Decided to go for goal. 1 million miles away.
No, again, he only has one thing in his mind. It's a really intelligent bit of movement. He comes from deep. That's the problem for the central defender, Cody, on that occasion. Angle against him, but still warms the palms of Patricio. He's just very single-minded, is he, anywhere around the 18-yard box.
It's a corner to Chelsea. The second of the game. It's from the far stand side this time. It's going to be an outswinger from Eden Hazard. Deep delivery, looking for the head of Rudiger, who gets up there. But Wolves defend that one much better than last time when they looked a little indecisive in and around the edge of their 6-yard box. This time Wolves pelting the ball deep back into the Chelsea half. And again, these blustery conditions, long ball downfield, looking for Hazard, overhit by Emerson and out of play. 19 played, Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Remember, at TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in from around the world. Darlington has tweeted in from Abia State in Nigeria. He's predicting, Sam, Chelsea 1, Wolves 2, so that would be that first league double since the mid-70s.
It would be, yeah. No, they were brilliant at Molineux, and they've shown they can beat the top sides, Russ. Here comes Chelsea, though.
Yeah, here's Hazard. Lovely mazy run from Hazard. Head up, ball over the top, looking for Pedro. Excellent header clear from Doherty. Pedro just hoping the ball would drop over his shoulder to get the shot away. Really good build-up from Hazard. When he's buzzing and looking alert, looking engaged like that, there are a few better.
There are, and Pedro's been heavily involved, and those two have got a good relationship. Little step overs when he comes infield, Pedro off the line. They can work really well in tandem.
Jorginho midway inside the Wolves half. Chelsea having a rich spell of territory in possession, but it's about converting that into goals, and that they are yet to do. Near stand side now to Emerson. Midfield to Kovacic. Nice gelling, well-manoeuvred move here from Chelsea. Son's out on this near side in the sunshine. Hazard in field to Kante. Just miscontrolled it slightly. Pedro short of time as a result, but he gets there ahead of Otto. Back to Kovacic on the near side, edge of the penalty area. It's a long laboured move from Chelsea, still looking for that killer ball to cut balls wide open. Kovacic's cross, Bowley's header clear. Neves miscontrols it. Chelsea win it back again on the edge of the box through Jorginho. They're coming at Wolves in droves at the moment, and Maurizio Sarri's men roared on by the home crowd, just waiting for something to ignite and really click. Another decent move from Emerson, blocked from the right Wolves wing back Doherty, and out for another Chelsea throw there, knocking at the door.
They are, and it's they're coming up against a stubborn Wolves resistance at the moment, but you expect them to have to come out at some point, or even this will be breached because the quality of players that they're up against. I was thinking a moment ago, I saw West Ham yesterday, Russ, and it's kind of what is the motivation for a team like Wolves at the moment. Of course, there's that outside chance of Europe if they finish 7th.
Yeah.
I know there's various permutations
Absolutely.
with the FA Cup, but is it financial? Is it your own personal standards? I just think to some teams at this stage of the season, as I saw with Cardiff yesterday, it means a little bit more at the top of the table or at the bottom of the table. So at the moment, plenty of tenacity from Wolves and organisation, but do they have it in them to produce another top performance? Because the work, let's face it, is pretty much done for the season from their point of view.
Yeah, well, talking on that front, actually, their boss, Nuno Espirito Santo, was talking about sustaining consistency. He was saying they have good gluts and then a sudden performance where they fall off a cliff. They had that awful performance, it was against Huddersfield, wasn't it, when they lost 1-0 a couple of matches ago, then bounced back with a good win against Cardiff, and it's just trying to keep up those consistency levels. Here come Chelsea. Decent work from the far side. Hazard finding Azpilicueta. His cross is blocked for a corner, and Azpilicueta claiming a potential handball. Always tough when you've got a defender in your face who doesn't have much time to react.
Yeah, I don't like them ever to be given, to be honest, Russ.
And actually he was a striker.
Yeah, it's pretty black and white for me. Don't get me started on the PSG one in the week.
So third Chelsea corner of the game from the far side. Hazard's delivery, it's a poor one this time. Doesn't beat the man at the near post, which is Raul Jimenez, back helping out his teammates. And all of a sudden Wolves can counter-attack here. Here's Diogo Jota. 2 against 1, he was outnumbered on the far side. And in the end, N'Golo Kante just did enough to calmly and resolutely win the ball back and get it back to his goalkeeper, Kepa Arrizabalaga. Kepa's barely touched the ball in this game. In fact, was that the first time?
I think so. Yeah,
I don't remember him actually having it at his feet or his hands at all until then.
He's been a spectator.
We played 23 minutes.
Yeah, he's been a spectator as of the Wolves front too. I mean, they don't have much pace in the side today, Wolves. Early part of the season, I felt they really had that on the counter. Jota's a good mover with the football. He travels well with it, but he hasn't got that blistering pace. Oh, here we go.
Well, mistake from Kovacic, and all of a sudden, Wolves have got a counter-attack opportunity. Here is Jota. Reverse pass in field was a disappointing one. Wrong choice there as he tried to find Dendoncker to his right. I think options like Otto herring down to his left would have been a better outlet.
Yeah, could have just slipped it out that way. It's just, again, it's how much have they got in their locker, because even that last victory over Cardiff, that takes an enormous amount of energy in the Premier League to get that maximum points at home. To do it week in, week out, it's very difficult.
End-to-end stuff all of a sudden. Here come Chelsea. Azpilicueta to Pedro. Lovely delivery looking for Higuain. Near post header. Wide of goal. Heels for a potential corner. What is more concerning is 2 Wolves players have run into each other while trying to clear it. One is Cody, who's down holding his head. I think the other is Saiss, and I think the pair have clashed heads here. Let's take another look. Yeah, exactly that. Saiss and Cody.
Yeah, it's a good ball in from Pedro. Again, Higuain making that near post runner. I'm not scrutinising the movement of one of the world's best strikers, but that is the run he makes. If the ball's being rotated on the floor, he makes that little dart towards the near post in between centre-halves, and from wide as well. That's his movement. He never peels around the back and tries to get in between the opposite full-back and the opposite centre-half. It's always that dart across the near post, but he gets to the ball so often.
Really nice interplay between Azpilicueta and Pedro in the build-up to that half chance. So just looking at the replay of the handball appeal, it was Dendoncker's block from Azpilicueta's cross. The arm's not outstretched, but it does strike the arm. Still having none of it?
Not for me. No, it's a combination of thigh and hand. Probably brushed his palm, but no,
if you gave that, you'd give 4 or 5 penalties a match.
I just think when you're that close, it's not a penalty ever.
It is a corner in the end. The 2 Wolves players who clashed heads are okay. They're up, but it came off a Wolves player last. Not the best of corners there from Hazard, but there was another penalty appeal as Jimenez tried to clear the ball, got it completely wrong, took an air shot, and the ball then seemed to hit his hand. Anyway, it's all waved away. Chelsea come forward again with a cross from the right-hand side from Kante. Wolves hack it to safety. As the striker messed up that clearance, there appeared to be a penalty shout.
Well, that's more of a penalty, and it's just really unfortunate because he takes a swing at it and it hits him clear on the left arm.
It's like you on the 14th tee, that is, with your air shot.
Yeah, that's more of a penalty, I would say. But still, I don't. it's misfortune. There's nothing intentional about it.
The arm is not in a natural position, is it? But it certainly wasn't deliberate. It was a fairly hapless clearance, with all due respect. Talk about you strikers going out to help at the back. Is that a classic example?
It is a little bit, yeah. It's an unnatural position, Russ, for a centre forward. Even there, and having the training, doing it day after day to just have a strong side foot and clear your lines. Yeah, believe me, it can be a little bit panicky when you're doing the other side of the game, which is picking up rather than trying to get away from people.
We saw one good clearance from Jimenez earlier, that one not so good, and Chelsea have come forward again. Luis with another long ball forward, cushioned nicely as far as Hazard 30 yards out. He's blocked this time with his through ball by Ruben Neves. His pass is poor, and Luis intercepts again as far as N'Golo Kante. 27 played. Premier League Live, Chelsea 0, Wolves 0 at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets coming in, we'll read a few more in just a second. Good interception this time from Willy Bowley, who read that one beautifully. Otto nearly plays himself into trouble, but just about does enough, and this is much better from Wolves, who try to counter-attack. Neat turn from Diogo Jota. Jimenez has pulled wide to the left-hand side. Plays a 1-2 with Otto. When all the players get drawn to one area of the field, the outlets elsewhere, they become a bit limited, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They've not been able to get into Chelsea's half, really, and get gold shirts forward and to join in with that front two. Jota was able to keep the ball for his side, but they're not hurt Chelsea at all in the opening 28 minutes.
And you highlighted Cody's long balls. Absolute beauty there as far as Matt Doherty. Doherty cut in field and was then dispossessed, but a poor clearance from Jorginho. And here come Wolves again. Here's Raul Jimenez as far as Jota. Out to Otto on the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Otto up against Azpilicueta. And Cesar Azpilicueta did absolutely brilliantly there to snuff out the attack and snuff out the danger.
It was a shame it was just lofted out towards Johnny from, I think it was Diogo Jota. He had the pass on, could have slipped it into his feet, but the extra elevation gave Azpilicueta the opportunity to get back and do what he does so fantastically well. It's hard to think of a better one-on-one defender really in the top flight for consistency over the last probably 5 years.
So Wolves with a decent spell before that was broken up by Azpilicueta, and Chelsea have moved the ball rapidly back into the Wolves half. Kovacic to Emerson Palmieri. Back as far as Kovacic once more. Higuain trying to play as the link man with the build-up play this time. Fortuitous ricochet. And wins it back to Gonzalo Higuain. Immediately decides to go across field to Azpilicueta. Jorginho had Jimenez breathing down his neck, but did just enough the Brazilian to keep hold of the ball. It's Pedro against Bowley. Ginormous physical mismatch of about a foot and about 7 stone. But Pedro stays on his feet to Hazard. Little impudent offload looking for Higuain. Move breaks down, but once again David Luiz reads the danger well. As far as Hazard, tackle from Doherty and out for a throw. It's pretty breathless stuff, I'll give you that. The quality's not the highest given the conditions, but there isn't much of a pause for breath, is there, in this game?
No, I mean, they're probing Chelsea, aren't they, trying to prise them open. I'm sure they will give them time, but at the moment you'd have to say Wolves relatively comfortable. That would have to be fair. There's not been too much on Rui Patricio's goal. I'm sure the Wolves staff would want to see a little bit more from them going the other way.
Half an hour played on Premier League Live. Sam Parkin, former Chelsea striker, alongside me. Ball over the top from Jorginho looking for Higuain, and this time the offside flag is up against Gonzalo Higuain. Wasn't quite meant to be on that occasion, but he looks potent, doesn't he? I know he scored 3 goals so far in all competitions since arriving at the Bridge, but Higuain looks talented, he looks a class act, and his all-round play and his threat is clearly high.
Yeah, and I didn't think that was offside. I think Doherty was playing him on this near side, and Jorginho doesn't even look there, and I love it. He knows he can loft the ball with a little bit of bend into that area, and he's not trying to get it into Higuain's feet, he's trying to put him in on goal. And like I said, it's almost telepathic between the two. Higuain will get more goals this season, no doubt about that.
A promising run for a moment from Diogo Jota, and then Jota just stretched and fouled his man, which was Jorginho again. He's absolutely fine and back up on his feet. 31 on the clock. Remember, the best way to look ahead to a Premier League weekend is to subscribe to the TalkSport Premier League Preview Show podcast, out every Thursday. I said drop us a line wherever you're listening around the world. I can tell you that Bo Bowden is listening from Hanover, Pennsylvania, from Starbucks, and he says this is the snack food capital of the world, boys. Hanover, Pennsylvania is where we need to go.
Sounds good. Next trip.
Willy Bowley up against Kovacic. Bowley just gets there first, plays the ball off Kovacic and out for another goal kick. Willy Bowley is an important player, isn't he, at the back for Wolves. He is such a physical, imposing character, as well as a good leader, the way that he leads by example with his play too.
Yeah, another one who's been a massive plus point, I think, for Wolves this season. It was the red card at the Etihad, I think it was.
Yes.
Just let him down a little bit, wasn't it? A bit of a rash challenge, but he's made my fantasy league team consistently throughout the season, and he's not let me down, Rusty. I think he's been excellent in his maiden season in the Premier League.
Well, I've got Johnny Otto in mind, and he is the man on the ball at the moment. I think everybody's got a Wolves defender in their team, because they're on the whole quite cheap to buy in fantasy football, and they never often arrested, hence we talked about that small nucleus of players. Often they keep the odd clean sheet. Foul there though from Saiss on Kovacic. It'll be a Chelsea free kick about 10 yards inside the Wolves half, which they take quickly. Hazard tried to move the ball forward, but options were limited. Hazard almost just thinking slightly quicker than his teammates there, and weren't quite on his wavelength and hadn't quite reacted. A bit of a lull in the crowd for a second as Chelsea just realign and re-evaluate the situation. 32 on the clock, goalless against Wolves here on Premier League Live. If you're Maurizio Sarri, do you tweak anything tactically to try and unlock the door, or is it a case of just keep doing what they're doing for a while longer?
I don't think he will. I think they have made slight little alterations in the last few weeks. I think just moving the ball a little bit quicker, just adjusting a few of the positions. Certainly Pedro and Hazard coming in field and really pushing those fullbacks on seems to be something that's happening in this first half. But I think Wolves are just better defensively, Russ, since the start of the season. I think that they've just altered. Obviously they've changed the system a little bit. They're more compact. They're not as maybe open as they were last season and at the start of this Premier League campaign.
Dendonker's clearance was blocked and Chelsea have got it back. Jorginho finds Kovacic, slightly overhits his pass, and that's a frustrating one there. It asks too much of Eden Hazard. Hazard gives his teammates a little ripple of applause just to give them a bit of motivation, but just on that occasion Kovacic just needed to guide it into space and a bit too much juice on it.
Yeah, there was. He's a better passer than that, Kovacic. And it's been a frustration for Chelsea fans all season, wanting to see different systems and slightly different styles of play. But I think Maurizio Sarri's going to be, if he's going to be afforded the time, needs to be given the luxury to get a few more of his players in, to keep working with them with this 4-3-3. And within that, it's just a few little alterations I think that he's going to try and do in time, just to make it a little bit more free-flowing, a little bit more exciting. Because at the moment, it's a lot of the previous regime's players, and I'm sure he'd like to do a little bit more work in the transfer market, given the chance, obviously, with what's hanging over the club.
Absolutely. I was going to ask your thoughts on that. Player just taken a knock to the back of their Achilles tendon, I think, is Dendonker, who's down and in some pain. We'll keep a close eye on that as Doherty plays the ball back to Kepa. I think he's alright, Dendonker. Sam, what's your take on all of that? The fact that Chelsea self-confessedly are gobsmacked that they haven't got the chance to freeze during an appeal process. Yeah,
it's a big surprise. I think when it all came out, I know it happened probably 7 or 8 years ago now with Gael Kakuta. There was a period where it looked like they were going to face a big ban and they were able to get off on appeal. So I think the recent goings on has surprised everyone at the football club, and it's looking like it could be a reality now, which is going to have huge repercussions, not only for the players that remain, the likes of Hudson-Odoi and Hazard, who are in disputes or in conversations about new contracts.
Afford to lose them if they can't sign any new players till January 2020.
No, of course not. People will look at it from the outside and say there's a plethora of options given the amount of loan players, not only the young players, Russ, but some of the older statesmen that could come back in and yet turn their Chelsea careers around. So there's enough there. But in terms of the manager wanting to really stamp his authority on this football club and go on and achieve trophies and success, he needs his own players.
And mould it in his own image, which with his own style, love it or loathe it, Sarri ball, whatever it may be, which, as you say, he's adapted a bit lately, but yeah.
In terms of his future and the near future of the football club returning to winning trophies, it could have massive repercussions, because this is a manager, when he's installed in the football club, you would think he's going to take them forward for 3 or 4 years and really get his philosophy. Signing players is a recruitment huge part of that.
Now, foul from Matt Doherty. just beneath us, and it's the first player to go into the book. Doherty has brought down Eden Hazard, slightly cynical. Hazard had turned him. Doherty just stuck out a leg and brought down this man. It was slight, but it was enough to send the Belgian flying. It was right in front of referee Michael Oliver. Doherty goes into the book, which can have ramifications later in the game and any other tricky one-on-ones. Chelsea free kick from the far side is swung in by Hazard. Not the best of deliveries. Wolves fairly easily head it away, up as far as halfway. I'd say Hazard's set pieces haven't been brilliant in this game so far. For a second, Emerson is caught in possession by Jimenez, or off Raul Jimenez, and had a play for a throw. Hazard's corners and that free kick, last two haven't been brilliant today, have they?
They haven't. I think everything's lacked a bit of quality, to be honest, Russ. I think partly the conditions, partly because Chelsea are predictable in what they do, and Wolves have come with a very good setup. They're very compact, and they're just going to try and ride this early pressure from Chelsea and maybe nick something on the counter in the second half, and it's not the best fare at the moment, it must be said.
Wolves frustrated that they've not won a throw on the far side. It's gone to Jorginho and to Chelsea. Did hear Drogba, by the way, watching this one, in as one of the clubs in the tees for the game. Player that I presume you would have been in and around the same time as, or not, or do you have just missed him? Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank as well.
Yeah, more that man rather than Drogba, a bit after my time, but phenomenal. I think sometimes you're looking back over the success of the last few years, and Chelsea was so blessed with Drogba and obviously Diego Costa. Maybe Higuain could be that man, but it's that focal point that's been missing, in my opinion, in the last year, 18 months.
Those massive thighs of Hasselbank, they were absolutely huge, weren't they?
It was phenomenal, and what a partnership. I mean, it's a bit of a dying art now, isn't it, seeing two front men, but him and Gudjonsson for a spell. You talk about the relationship that Jorginho and Higuain have, different, but those two, Gudjonsson coming deep and supplying Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, he was first class, those two.
Not much to report on the field at the moment, but Chelsea are back in possession. As Sam says, it's been a bit flat and a bit scrappy given these tricky conditions. Chelsea need to win pretty much all the time at the moment in this fight for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th that they're embroiled in. Blues back in possession of the ball, about midway inside the Wolves half, but again it's very sedentary, it's very pedestrian as N'Golo Kante tries to inject a bit of pace and quality into the move. Johnny Otto wins it back off Azpilicueta, and a play for another throw. And Chelsea just lacking a little finesse and a little ingenuity and creativity at the moment. We'll see if they can pull something out of the fire. 39 played, Premier League Live, and it remains Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Earlier, Liverpool in a topsy-turvy affair, beating Burnley 4-2 to stay close to Man City at the top of the table. Later, our third commentary game of the day on Premier League Live, 4:30 UK time, so in about an hour and 3/4, Arsenal versus Manchester United. Hopefully we can bring you a couple of goals here, as at least the Chelsea fans are in full voice for the first time in a while. But Jorginho is dispossessed by Raul Jimenez. Jimenez takes the ball back around Jorginho and does very well indeed. Ball over the top, and there's a great opportunity here for Wolves, who get it so frustratingly wrong. It's Diogo Jota after a lovely ball through from Ruben Neves. And Jota bearing down on the edge of the penalty area, just got that one very, very much awry.
Yeah, it's that most dangerous moment of the game. You missed the finish as well, Russ. He absolutely spanked it into the top corner with his left boot.
I looked away after I'd seen him sort of tread on it and handball it.
Yeah, whistle had long gone, but really good movement and a fantastic, beautiful curve pass from Ruben Neves.
Just seen it on the replay. Is that an example of the pressure's off? Would he have done that? No chance.
Probably not. Well, his touch was that bad, wasn't it? It actually went back on himself. But yeah, just a reminder for Chelsea there. They have got that. Like I said, Cody's brilliant at those long raking passes. Neves on that occasion. And the best moment, you'd have to say, for Wolves as an attacking threat.
Yep, Diogo Jota scored 6 goals this season, but did not cover himself in glory in open play. After the whistle, pressure off, spanks it in the top corner. Here's Azpilicueta at the other end. This is more like it, end-to-end stuff, as we like it on Premier League Live. Good interception from Conor Cody for the away team, but his ball forward is not the best. Miscontrols it off his left foot, and now to play for another Chelsea throw. Chelsea have won 6 straight home games against Wolves in all competitions. They've scored 21 goals in the process and conceded just 2. And 3 of their last 4 Chelsea in the league. That one defeat was, of course, the 6-0 Man City thumping. That and the Man U Cup defeat back-to-back was a pretty bleak time where Sarri's job appeared very much on the line. But the comeback in the league and in the Europa League has seen things improve a bit, even though this hasn't been the most fluid and fluent of performances so far this afternoon. 42 on the clock, Premier League Live. Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Ball through looking for Higuain, who saw it very late and as a result struggled to control it. Emerson this time hacks down Raúl Jiménez and right in front of the ref. He's got to be careful. That's not far off a yellow card.
No, it wasn't. And the last couple of bits of hold up from Jimenez have been first class. Quick feet down on this near side to set Neves away previously, and that was brilliant. Centre forward play, he has to do that, has to get his team up the pitch, otherwise they will fold if they come under concerted pressure. But that was excellent play, and Emerson maybe a little bit fortunate. Just first signs of frustration, I think, now for Chelsea. Don't you think, Russ? 15-20 minutes in, you can accept that. There may be a flat start, or the visiting side may frustrate, but a few wayward passes and getting a bit frustrated, the Chelsea fans.
Another wayward pass is shot at Jimenez, who's through on goal, is he? Oh, David Luiz gets back brilliantly. Miscontrolled by one of his teammates in front of him. Suddenly Jota and Jimenez are bearing down on goal, and Luiz read that one beautifully to really calmly come and just nudge the ball back to his keeper. That was great defending.
It was, yeah. Jimenez not got that electric pace.
No.
David Luiz able to recover, and Kepa starts another Chelsea attack.
I suppose Adama Traore, as the club record signing, was the guy that they signed from Middlesbrough with the plan to be that bombing, pacey player to really add drive, and he's not really done it for Wolves, has he? He's one player who's been a bit of a failure.
Yeah, there's a couple of others as well on the bench there, Cavaleiro and Gibbs-White as well, who bring a bit more pace to what they've got in their starting lineup today. And that's the way they went at the start of the season. They were playing, two pacey players along with a central striker.
Decent ball over the top. It's gone loose. Hazard tries to get a shot in. Saiss just about gets there. Ball over the top. Higuain up against Bowley in the air. Fell to Hazard. Romain Saiss reacted quickly. Here's Jorginho, tries to slide one through. Cut out again by Wolves. Raúl Jiménez having a good couple of minutes. Another neat turn. He frees Matt Doherty on this near side, right beneath our vantage point again. Right wing back, in field as far as Dendoncker, the Belgian. Missed a chunk of time, injured earlier in the season after his big money signing. Fit at the moment and show no ill effects of that Achilles tendon little rake that he picked up earlier in the game. Having a look at the replay on the big screen of this chance for Hazard, and good challenge from Saiss.
Yeah, he took a bit of a risk, didn't he, because he went pretty high. Hazard gets that little nick on the ball first. It would have been a clear penalty, but good decision ultimately.
And Yuski Samuels tweeted in saying, loving the game, guys. Hopefully my beloved Chelsea will get 3 points and the Arsenal and Man U will draw. That's Samuel in Lagos. I think a lot of Chelsea fans would like that combo of events today. Danny Adu, listening from Accra and Ghana, says, great job, guys. Let's get the win sealed by beloved Chelsea. Charles Aniokwe, Chelsea will take this by the end of the game. And Mr. Austin Sniper's got a question. He says, how much a better player is Higuain than Morata on the evidence so far?
Yeah,
a fair bit.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, I think Morata will probably excel at a different club, but Higuain fits into this a lot better.
There'll be one additional minute as Chelsea for a moment look like they might pull the trigger again on the edge of the penalty area. But again, it's a disjointed attack. There's no real movement, no real options, and Jimenez puts in a tackle, then is fouled, and Wolves win the ball back for the free kick with about 40 additional seconds to go. That's when you need Chelsea to pull something out of the bag, and the options did seem a bit lacking.
No, it's been predictable. It's everything that's been bad about Chelsea at times this season, and you understand the frustration, because to me, other managers, coaches would tweak this now. They play a different system for a period in this game just to ask a few more questions of the opposition. With what we're witnessing here, I think it's important those two midfield players, they make runs beyond Higuain as well. Kante and Kovacic, they can afford to be a little bit more offensive and make runs and just try and move Wolves around a little bit, otherwise it's so predictable.
Well, you mentioned a lack of goals really in terms of that midfield trio for the formation Chelsea play, and maybe just a lack of general attacking intent and getting into the right positions, and I'd say boos, but one or two murmurs of frustration from the Chelsea fans as the half-time whistle blows. And yes, Chelsea have huffed and puffed and dominated vastly territory and possession of the ball, but they don't have many chances to show for it. Wolves with a couple of half chances as well. Real goal-mouth drama It's been few and far between this game so far on Premier League Live. It's a key game, 6th and 7th. The pressure's telling, the wind is still blowing. Hopefully the second half will bring us more. Chelsea 0, Wall still, Premier League Live.
The Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. It's the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, vents a shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham afternoon isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy.
The TalkSport Predictor Game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click talksport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor Game. Available online and for free at talksport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Chelsea up against Wolves at Stamford Bridge. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, alongside me, the former Chelsea striker Sam Parkin. 0-0 at half-time, and let's be honest, not a huge amount of goal-mouth opportunity in windy, tricky conditions. The odd talking point, we hope for better in the second half. Here's a reminder of one or two of the few highlights of the first 45 minutes. End-to-end stuff all of a sudden. Here come Chelsea as Piliqueta to Pedro. Lovely delivery looking for Higuain. Near post header, wide of goal. Heels for a potential corner. What is more concerning is two Wolves players have run into each other while trying to clear it. One is Cody, who's down holding his head. I think the other is Saiss, and I think the pair have clashed heads here. Let's take another look. Yep, exactly that, Saiss and Cody.
Yeah, it's a good ball in from Pedro. Again, Higuain making that near post runner. I'm not scrutinising the movement of one of the world's best strikers, but that is the run he makes. If the ball's been rotated on the floor, he makes that little dart towards the near post in between centre halves and from wide as well. That's his movement. He never peels around the back and tries to get in the opposite, in between the opposite full-back and the opposite centre half. It's always that dart across the near post, but he gets to the ball so often.
We can bring you a couple of goals here, as at least the Chelsea fans are in full voice for the first time in a while. But Jorginho is dispossessed by Raul Jimenez. Jimenez takes the ball back around Jorginho and does very well indeed. Ball over the top, and there's a great opportunity here for Wolves who get it so frustratingly wrong. It's Diogo Jota after a lovely ball through from Ruben Neves. Jota bearing down on the edge of the penalty area. Just got that one very, very much right.
Yeah, it's that most dangerous moment of the game.
Yeah, so goalless at half-time. Sam Parkin's still alongside me. And Sam, we've just been taking a little look at the benches. discussing the tactics. What do you do maybe if you're Chelsea personally? I know he's kind of the man of the moment. I'd chuck Callum Hudson-Odoi on for the second half. Just give the lad a go. Why not? I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of his, Russ. Obviously, I've watched his development with the under-18s and then the under-23s. Well, he kind of missed that process. Straight into the first team group, but he's a phenomenal talent. But you spoke about Pedro. He's in a decent vein of form at the moment. I'd like to see Loftus-Cheek on there. I mean, I know this has been the debate of the season somewhat, but the Kante playing in the position that he is, I mean, Loftus-Cheek for me brings more creativity and more goal threat from there. Him for either Kante, obviously I'd like to see Kante playing deeper, but Loftus-Cheek to come in there and just add a little bit of a goal threat. I think that's really lacking. I spoke about it during the commentary. I mean, what they would do for a Lampard or a Ballack or someone like that in this 4-3-3 system, you have to have someone who's got that knack of getting goals or can make the box on regular occasions. It's just, they have to take risks. I think when there's a team that are deeply set and really compact, you've got Jorginho as your little bit of security. If you're one of those two midfield players, move around, rotate a little bit, take risks and get beyond Higuain. And that's where goals have come from at times. Remember Kante getting a goal away at Palace, and it came from David Luiz being a bit more direct and Kante making a searching run. There's more they can be doing, but a lot of it for me does fall on the manager's door. Need to see more flexibility from him. I've been banging that drum all season, and it's something I'd still like to see.
So we've got a poll on our Twitter page at TalkSport Live. Who's going to score first in the game? There isn't a no goal. There should be a no goal option here, but there isn't. It's who will score first. 55% of our listeners around the world are saying Chelsea. 45 Wolves. They've actually just tightened up slightly to 52-48 as the votes continue to come in. So Chelsea edging it with our listeners, but not by much, because Wolves have set their stall out okay, haven't they? It's not been necessarily exhilarating, but they're doing a job.
No, and the managers had to alter to a degree what they do, Russ, because I think they were a bit too open last year. As good as they were, they had better players in the Championship. This year had to be a bit more defensive after that really poor run of results, and I think that takes away something from their attacking side.
So one more commentary game after us. It is Arsenal versus Manchester United. Unai Emery and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the two men in the opposing dugouts.
Against Manchester United is very tough match against them in their best moment in this season, but we are going to play with our supporter at home, and we want to create a big atmosphere for help us.
Same decisions that you always have when you go into a game. One, you've got to consider their approach. What systems do you think they will play, which is impossible to predict because they change a lot. But then you need to look at who's fit and how we want to approach the game as well. It might different kind of systems, or is it a counter-attacking game? Is it a different type of game you want? It's all sorts. But now, of course, the fitness issue plays in more than ever, because we've got players coming in. We've got players who put the proper shift in. One of the hardest nights we've had, as in output physically. Probably this one and the Arsenal Cup game are the two hardest games we've had, and it was great to have fresh legs. Scott, Fred, they do cover the ground so much, which must be something that we have to consider this time. Everyone likes to get complimented, and when you meet people that they're happy, and but that doesn't change my approach whatsoever. I'm quite good at focusing on what I shall be focusing on, and that's not thinking about that part of it.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Unai Emery, the bosses ahead of Arsenal against Manchester United. Our next commentary game, earlier Liverpool beating Burnley 4-2. This is the middle part of our sandwich. It's the meat. So far, it hasn't provided us with a lot. Hopefully the second half will, and that's up next on Premier League Live.
There's more to life than football, money and fun. Well, not much.
Kick off the new season with TalkSport's £1 million Predictor Game.
Register now at TalkSport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season.
Play it in the van. Play it on the can. Play it with your gran.
Win £1 million sterling.
It's the biggest prize in the history of TalkSport.
The TalkSport £1 million Predictor Game. Players must be 18 or over. See TalkSport.com/predictor for full conditions.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Kane now on his left foot, bends a shot, what a goal from Harry Kane! MBE! Stunning finish with his left foot into the top corner. It's wonderful from Spurs. It's magnificent from Harry Kane. No wonder the Queen wanted to bestow an honour upon him. What a goal to celebrate.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Salah's readying himself to take this one. Van Dijk's there. Lovren's there. Fabinho's there to open his account for Liverpool. And just as City go 2-1 down at Leicester, Liverpool stamp their authority at Anfield. Yet more. Liverpool 4, Newcastle 0. Title challenge on. Are they now the favourites?
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Aubameyang through to Torreira inside the area. Torreira scores! And surely now, North London is red again. Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2. Here's Maddison for Leicester. Vardy chance, Vardy goal. Leicester City out of nowhere have got the lead. Jamie Vardy, who's been virtually anonymous this afternoon, isn't anymore. Wonderful finish by Vardy, and it's Chelsea 0, Leicester City 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
He's put down the dumbbells and has turned up here for the show. Chris Iwelumo is on the preview show. The Premier League winner, Paul Parker, joins us on the Premier League Preview Show.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Chelsea against Wolverhampton Wanderers from Stamford Bridge. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, alongside with the former Chelsea, Ipswich and Swindon striker Sam Parkett. It's Premier League Live. Chelsea pretty quickly making their way back out into the middle for the second half. Weather has picked up. There's a little kind of narrow passage of sunlight that's shining down across the majority of the stand opposite. Still a bit breezy and blustery. One of the reasons that the first half has failed to really ignite. We'll wait Wolves out in just a couple of moments. Remember, at TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in around the world. Bra Tim says Chelsea will still win this 3-0. He's listening in Accra in Ghana. Below Monsoro Omo West saying it's a great game to define Chelsea's season unless the club's 114th birthday. Did you know that?
I did.
Good start.
Yeah.
Good work, Bello.
And he's right as well, because like I said, I mean, Everton and Cardiff to come, 2 winnable away games before West Ham. It's there for them, isn't it? You know, there's a long way to go in terms of this top 4 battle, but I think the next few weeks, I think he's spot on. They could really define the season.
Brian Bailey tweeting from the beautiful state of Alabama from Montgomery in the US. Glad to have Premier League back in the mornings where I am, and MLS in the evenings. He's a happy man, hoping that Chelsea and Arsenal win and make the top 4 race even tighter. Brian, we appreciate your tweet. What else have we got? Hussein Aiden, Chelsea failing to make their dominance count. They've got to give it all for 3 points and nothing less. He's listening from Lagos in Nigeria. Hopefully Chelsea drop points and Arsenal win against Man U. Ghana-based Arsenal fan there, Otis Rabaya Sadot. Keep your tweets coming in at TalkSport Live. We'll read the best of them out over the course of the second half. Wolves finally making their way back out into the middle as well. As Nuno Espirito Santo, their manager, sits down. Can't see any changes for either of the 11s from the players that are running out. We'll see if there's any positional tweaks or not. Gut reaction, Sammy. Will we get any goals? Who's going to win?
Oh, well, I think Wolves showed a little bit more towards that half-time whistle, the threat that they've got, the likes of Neves with his brilliant range of passing. But you'd have to expect Chelsea, if they kept dictating the possession like they did in the first half, keep knocking on the door and probing. It could be about the substitutes today, Russ, you know. He's got a lot of quality on there, a lot of players who did well in the week at Malmo, so I expect if it remains like this for 15 minutes, he'll roll the dice. Certainly Willian will be one that he'll bring on almost immediately, and then Loftus-Cheek, Hudson-Odoi potentially.
Great run from Emerson. This is much more like it as he cuts it back to Gonzalo Higuain. Higuain tries to get his shot away. Willy Bowley makes the block, and out of nowhere Emerson just decided to commit to the run and ghosted his way past two Wolves tackles on the far side. Cut the ball in as far as Gonzalo Higuain. Had a defender on him, and it was just slightly behind him as well, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, but Chelsea started in the same vein they did the first half, really. They were quick out the blocks, just unable to force Rui Patricio into many saves in that first half. Just a couple from Higuain, I think, from really acute angles where almost just little sighters for him, just having a little taste of striking towards goal, but he's not really been presented with anything that you'd have expected him to score from.
Back to where we were for much of the first half here on Premier League Live, which is Chelsea in possession but not doing a huge amount with it. Antonio Rudiger, the German international, to Cesar Azpilicueta, the skipper, to the near stand side to Pedro in that little sliver of sunshine. Kante, edge of the area, this is more like it. Pedro thinks about getting the shot away, but Ruben Neves was back with an important interception. Finds Jota, finds Jimenez, and now Wolves try to counter-attack. Jota's ball, though, asking too much of his teammate, and Jorginho with a tough challenge for Chelsea wins the ball back on halfway. Bit of drizzle coming down from one part of the sky, sunshine from the other. Strange March elements. Springtime in the UK can bring the little bit of weather diversity that we've got at this second, as Luiz for once plays a poor ball. Neves cuts it out. Ruben Neves has had a good start to the second half, and he's back in possession now for the away side for Wolves. Bowley in field as far as Jean-Martinho. Here's Conor Cody just edging the ball up to halfway, the Wolves captain. No real options forward, so it goes back to Doherty. Neves once more tries his luck with a long ball forward, putting Emerson under pressure. Was the handball there from Doherty? His arm was outstretched, didn't make sufficient contact for the whistle to blow. Doherty and Emerson fighting for the ball right by the corner flag. Was there a foul by Doherty there? I think there was. It was pretty robust play, wasn't it, from the Wolves right wing back?
Yeah, it was, and a very back to front pass again from Ruben Neves. He's got such quality in doing that, and it's probably been their biggest threat, their biggest asset again today, Cody, and Ruben Neves changing the point of attack with the crossfield balls.
Yeah, no foul in the end. It was a Wolves throw. Chelsea fans in the far corner and the player in question certainly didn't like it. Emerson felt that Doherty had upended him illegally by that corner flag. Chelsea trying to burst clear. They nearly lose the ball through Kante. It's won back by Hazard, and he's upended in fairly robust terms again, this time by Moutinho. Wolves aren't afraid to put the boot in, are they?
No, and there's definitely been a change in Wolves, I think, from the early part of the season. Obviously, with an extra player in central midfield, they're not as open, certainly. Probably you would expect that when they're coming up against the top six sides away from home, but it's very different to even, how they performed attacking-wise against Tottenham, when they a lot more free-flowing, had more options going forward. It's very much quite direct in towards Jimenez or change of plays towards the wing-backs, but certainly I think they've had to go a little bit more defensive because of the obvious quality that's consistent in the Premier League.
A little bit more like it from Chelsea on the far side. Emerson tries to find Kovacic, but just overhits it. Saiss gets involved and plays the ball out of play, so at least Chelsea do get a throw for their endeavour down that far stand side. Emerson, Kovacic and Hazard all combining. Here's Emerson, tries to get in across. Saiss doesn't quite get there, but just gets a sliver of a foot on the ball, which is enough to deflect it in the direction of Conor Cody. And he is happy to belt the ball downfield and send it right back into Chelsea's half. Nearly 50 minutes played on Premier League Live. It's Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. Higuain with a delightful offload to Hazard. Great run from Hazard. Appeals for a penalty. And it is, I think, a penalty to Chelsea, is it? Or is it a dive? Hang on. Oh no, it's a free kick right on the edge of the area. Tough to tell for a second there. Hazard brought down. Let's take a look at this. Higuain's offload. Hazard takes two players out of the game. Oh, I think just outside the box, the shove from Doherty, who's on a yellow card as well, isn't he, Doherty? He's got to be careful.
It's the right decision, having seen it a couple of times. It's the first time, really, Hazard's come infield, close proximity with Higuain. They do that brilliantly. A little flick round the corner and he's away, and they're in big trouble, Wolves. And Yeah, it's probably the right decision, isn't it?
Because he falls in the penalty area.
Yeah, it was definitely
but
a free
the
kick.
little tussle is just outside
it starts
the penalty
outside,
area, but only just.
No, it's definitely the right decision. I meant it was probably the right decision from Doherty, considering
I see, yeah.
You know, the area he was getting into, it was going to end up in a great opportunity, I think.
Blimey. It is a Chelsea free kick. Riding their luck there, Wolves. But Emerson and Louise standing over it. Louise right-footed, powerful effort, deflected off the wall and behind for a corner. Hit a Wolves' head. Good job from their point of view, it did, because that was a sweet strike from David Luiz, and it was on target, smacked Jimenez full in the head.
Yeah, he's got that peculiar technique, straight run-up, it's almost like Drogba, who's up in the stands today. Unfortunately, just a little ricochet. Ooh.
Yeah, Doherty is on a yellow card from that bad challenge in the first half. And taking one for the team there, bringing down his man on the edge of the box, got to be careful, to put it mildly. Hazard's delivery, again, is not the best, and again it's Jimenez back and helping out. Diego Jota to Neves, tries to find Jota on the counter-attack. N'Golo Kante reacts quickly, snuffs that one out and plays it back to his goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga. Decent effort there from Chelsea, good run. Doherty's foul leading to the free kick, and a good free kick that was well blocked. Here's Hazard looking lively at the moment, feels that he had his shirt pulled by Johnny Otto. The referee was well placed and was having absolutely none of it, Michael Oliver. Wolves this time, their turn to switch the passage of play from left to right. Doherty chips one over, overhits it for Jimenez. Rudiger intercepts. Chelsea try and come once more. 52 on the clock, Chelsea 0, Wolves 0. And you're listening to Premier League Live. We'll read out a few more at TalkSport Live tweets in a second. Keep yours coming in. Where you're listening from, I think the game's going to go. Your thoughts on these two teams with their aspirations for the rest of the season to come. Foul on the far side, Dendonka's upended. He's been in the wars a fair bit. Foul from Emerson. He's a pretty tough character himself, isn't he, Emerson?
Yeah, he's done well. Russ, I think a lot of the Chelsea supporters were crying out for him to be given a run in the team, given how much Alonso's performances have dropped off. I think just one goal for Alonso this season.
He's got about 10 last season,
yeah,
isn't he?
I mean, he's such a threat, isn't he, going forward? I think everyone thought he'd struggle in a back four this season, and I think the early results maybe papered over the cracks. There were signs that it was potentially going to be a struggle down that side, and I think he deserves his chance, Emerson, and I think maybe there may be movement and there may be an upgrade coming in the summer, but for the moment he deserves his place in the team.
You talk about maybe Davide Zabacosta being on his way, and as you say, a big 30, 40, 50 million pound player maybe coming in to improve that full-back option. Chelsea penned into their own half at the moment. Luis's clearance takes a deflection off a Wolves shirt and behind for a throw. Looks like we're seeing a bit of movement on the bench, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek is stripped off. That first Chelsea change could be Loftus-Cheek, and it could be for any of that midfield trio for me. I think you can take any of them out and bring him in just to have a bit more attacking acumen and just a little bit more attacking diversity. In the meanwhile, though, this is a good move from Chelsea, from left to right. Azpilicueta as far as Pedro, left-footed, edge of the box, in-swinging delivery is a good one. Decent header clear in the end. Doherty had to react quickly and did so. You can only get the ball half clear. Hazard picks it up on the far edge of the penalty area. Options either side. One of them is Emerson, flicks it back to Eden Hazard, who runs at Dendonka. Jota's back as well, but as Azpilicueta gets there just ahead of him. And back to this situation where Wolves deny the opponent's time and space, they press, and Chelsea give the ball away. It's happened again. And here come Chelsea, here come Wolves on the counter-attack. Otto, but Rudiger comes scampering across, and Antonio Rudiger reads that one very well indeed, showing a real good turn of pace there for a centre-half. Got there ahead of Johnny Otto. He played the ball back to Kepa. He's got some decent wheels, the German centre-half.
Yeah, he's incredibly quick. I think it was actually written about early part of the season. I think one of the quickest in the Premier League he's been clocked at, so brilliant turn of pace. You need that alongside David Luiz, and obviously when he's in the team alongside Christensen as well. He's a brilliant footballing centre-half, but lacks a little bit of pace.
Him, doesn't he, occasionally as well. Another good counter-attack here from Wolves, which is much more like it. Diogo Jota's got Jimenez inside, it opens up! And it's into the back of the net. It took a double deflection, it took an eternity, and the ball trickles into the back of the net. I'm pretty sure it will be Jimenez's goal. It's his 14th of the season, and the Wolves striker runs to celebrate with his teammates, and the Wolves fans in the corner And finally, Wolves blow this game wide open at the Bridge. 55 on the clock. Chelsea 0, Wolves 1.
Well, you can't say it's been coming because they hardly had a shot across the 55 minutes, but he's been growing in this game. His touch has actually been pretty secure, Jimenez, when he's had to hold the ball up, and just brilliant play by him and Jota there, the front players. Combining passes, getting set free, gets a little bit of luck with the finish. Here it is building up, Jota dropping off into a number 10 position, and it's brilliant little exchange. This is a fantastic reverse pass, taking him in on the target. Azpilicueta feels he's done enough with that challenge, but just bobbles and creeps into the corner.
And I'm pretty sure, which is critical here, that the initial shot was on target, because otherwise it's an own goal. It's not a million miles away from Azpilicueta own goal, that, is it? Let's be honest. Here's a good angle from behind on the big screen. Let's just see. Yeah, no, it is goal bound. It then hits Azpilicueta effectively twice, doesn't it? Hits him on both legs and then goes around Kepa and just bumbles its way into the back of the net.
Well, it's a mess of a finish, isn't it? And it just agonisingly, from a Chelsea perspective, just creeps over the line. But it was brilliant bit of play from him and Jota, because they've rarely touched the ball across the 56 minutes, but he's just started to grow into the game in the last few moments. And prior to half-time, his touch was really secure. There we go again, just popping it off back into midfield, and he needs to be spot on today, because their breaks have been few and far between.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's just what this game needed, a goal, because it's going to push Chelsea out, and there are options here. Loftus-Cheek is now onto the field, by the way. Infield as far as Pedro to Higuain. This is good stuff. Higuain's shot! It's just about tipped away by Rui Patricio. There may have even been a bit of a post in there as well. Great effort from Higuain. Patricio scrambling to his right. And by hook or by crook, Wolves keep it out.
Yeah, might have just been sailing wide. Haven't seen it again on the screen, but it needs no invitation, does he? Taking it on with his weaker side there. Little deflection, just wide.
Corner is swung in. Hazard with a better delivery there, and he picks up the loose ball once more as Eden Hazard bends it in. Curling header from Jorginho. Kante tries to strike the falling ball and mishits it. Chelsea have committed men forward. The Wolves trying to counter-attack again through Diogo Jota, who's got a man to his right. That man is Doherty, plays it through as far as Dendoncker. 12 yards out, back to Jota. Counter-attack's lost a little bit of pace for Wolves. For a second it was 2-on-2. But Chelsea, unlike the previous situation, have countered it and come scurrying back in a more effective manner this time. Also keep hold of the ball, a goal to the good, and in possession, midway inside Chelsea territory. 58 on the clock. Chelsea 0, Wolves 1. Jean Martino brings it forward, and all of a sudden Wolves now leading the game could just take the sting out of it, spray a few passes around and invite Chelsea onto them. The worms turned a bit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of confidence now in the Wolves ranks to string a few passes together. It's been all one-way traffic without Chelsea carving them open and peppering the goal. In terms of possession and territory, it's been Chelsea on top, but that's what Wolves play for. I told you about it at Wembley early part of the season, Russ. They sat in. I was surprised. They were quite resilient in that defending, but they didn't show too much attacking intent. All of a sudden, at 0-0, started to take one or two more risks, got themselves a goal in a great position.
Kovacic, by the way, he's come off for Ruben Loftus-Cheek, so Jorginho and Kante stay on. Loftus-Cheek will play in midfield, but in a slightly more attacking, advanced role than perhaps that which Kovacic had taken up before. A bit more variety to the Chelsea midfield, a bit more attacking potential, but can they make it count? Edem Reigns has tweeted in, "Come on Chelsea," from La Paz in Ghana. Chelsea need all the help they can get at the moment. They are struggling just a little bit. What can they do? Here is Loftus-Cheek, first chance to run at the Wolves' defence. Nice football from Loftus-Cheek to Pedro. Shot from distance, super shot from Pedro. Fisted over the bar from Patricio for a corner. Chelsea are bang up trying to find the equaliser.
Yeah, not something you really associate with Pedro, smashing balls from distance. He's a bit more of a side foot merchant, but that's a really fine effort. Unfortunately for him, just straight down the keeper's throat really, and simple to push it over the top.
Decent effort. Pedro scored plenty of goals this season, 9 in total. Looking for his 10th. Hazard's delivery is another dangerous one. Higuain can't quite poke it home. I think it is another corner at least. Hazard spot on with his delivery there. The ball flashing just past the goal line. Missed everybody. Flicked off one Wolves defender. Higuain couldn't convert at the far post.
Yeah, there was one in the first half, wasn't there, from an Azpilicueta flick. That actually comes off Jimenez and just Higuain can't react in time, which would have been a really simple opportunity to poke it over the line.
Another Hazard delivery, outswinger this time, looking for Antonio Rudiger, who crashes into one of the Wolves defenders. I think it's João Moutinho who's down holding his neck, and Rudiger came hurtling in there. Another replacement coming onto the field as well for Chelsea, and it is my boy Callum Hudson-Odoi for Pedro. Pedro's last effort is that stinging shot from distance that pulled that rasping save from Patricio. Here comes Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, well, Pedro's done all right again, Russ.
Yeah,
he's been the one,
absolutely.
hasn't he, making things happen, and he's not really shown his displeasure there because he's run off quickly. He slapped Hudson-Odoi's hand, but I'm sure he's disappointed to be coming off because he's been probably the most productive Chelsea attacker on display.
Peter in Uganda urging Chelsea, saying, come alive, my boys. Will they do so? Otawalo George still predicting a Chelsea win, he says in this one. That's TalkSport Live. I don't know, the Wolves fans to our left, good voice, and long goal trip down on a Sunday lunchtime, but worth every minute at the moment. It's their 6th trip to London this season. Wolves have got a very strong record in the Premier League in away trips to the capital. Will they keep it up, I wonder? 61 played, Chelsea will, Wolves won, and you're listening to Premier League Live. 1-3, drawn 2, lost none of their trips to London so far this season. Is that about to be 1-4, drawn 2, lost none?
It's not bad, is it?
Hell of an effort.
They've done brilliantly. Just they've done brilliantly against the top 6 sides, really. Just that one disappointment away at the Etihad quite recently. Other than that, been first class. I think they lost at home to Tottenham as well, maybe just prior to Christmas, but they've been fantastic. I think we all anticipated them staying up, no problem at all, but I think they're exceeding everyone's expectation now of what they could achieve this year.
Here's Loftus-Cheek, again an injection of much needed pace in field to Hazard, to Kante, edge of the penalty area, N'Golo Kante, yes, Pelikueta's shot is blocked by the Wolves defence, and Wolves throwing bodies at the ball to try and keep it out, and doing it well, but Chelsea with a bit more guile and finesse to their play since Loftus-Cheek has come on. It's a good move from Sarri, relatively early by his standards to do it on the hour mark, and they look a bit better, don't they now?
Well, he's not messed about, certainly, Russ. Normally you expect him to do it 10 minutes further on, 15 minutes further on. He's not messed about. The 2 young, exciting talents on for Chelsea, but no change in the system that I can notice at the moment. And when you're dealing with top coaches, as Nuno is, he'll have set up for this, Russ. He'll know exactly what Chelsea, not the personnel, he'll have known exactly how they were going to play, and he'll have set up to try and counteract that, and so far, he's winning the battle.
First touch from Callum Hudson-Odoi, wearing 20, was to cut in from the right-hand side and take on Diogo Jota. Jota won the ball off him, so Hudson-Odoi has to try again in just a couple of moments, when surely another opportunity will arise. The young England age group start, linked of course with that big move to Bayern Munich. His contractual situation still a little unclear moving forward. Appears to be playing on the right-hand side of the advanced midfielders, but it's Wolves on the attack on the far side. Jimenez as far as Dendoncker, who miscontrols that one and can't keep it in play, the Belgian. That wasn't brilliant. Yeah, Hudson-Odoi seems to be hugging this right-hand side so far.
Yeah, Hazard's gone right on the touchline, left-hand side. I think that's where he's best. Hudson-Odoi, he may end up playing a bit more centrally, off a striker at times during his career, but no, he's a phenomenal talent, and like Jadon Sancho, Russ, it's not just that ability to beat people in one-on-one, it's his understanding. You know, when he has to check out and keep the ball for his team, he's got really good awareness, and that's what's going to make him a top player.
Moutinho moves the ball to Jota, out to Johnny Otto on this near side, but the pass to Otto was poor, and we saw a bit of defensive play there from Hudson-Odoi, who came charging back and just trapped the run of the Wolves left wing back and put him under sufficient pressure to lose the ball. At TalkSport Live, Tom Godwin says, I'm falling asleep watching Chelsea this afternoon. I do understand where you're coming from, but they do look a little better now with the 2 English youngsters onto the field in Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek. Here is Callum Hudson-Odoi, right-footed delivery. It's a tantalising one, headed back across goal, looking for Higuain from the far side by Loftus-Cheek. Couldn't quite find a fellow blue jersey, but Kante wins the ball back midway inside the Wolves half, and once more chests it down to Loftus-Cheek on the edge of the area. David Luiz is in space, Running a Doherty, curling effort from Luiz, blocked by Roman Saiss. It hit him full in the midriff and cannoned away from the Wolves defender. Another powerful effort from Luiz.
It's small things, Russ, but even Ruben Loftus-Cheek getting around the far post there and being another body in the box, keeping the ball alive. You don't see that from Kovacic's game. He's not getting in the box enough, and then winning the little knockdown as well, showing a little bit of aggression, keeping it in that final third. It's two players that have got things to prove at the moment. Loftus-Cheek wants to be in that starting lineup. Hudson-Odoi wants that manager to be able to trust him week after week, and there's certainly been an improvement in Chelsea.
Nasty foul from Roman Saiss, who's just brought down Eden Hazard. Didn't look too bad in real time, but replay on the big screen shows the defender breaking his studs just down the ankle of Eden Hazard, who went down and screamed for a couple of seconds, understandably. He's picked himself back up now, Hazard. Saiss goes into the book. 66 on the clock, Chelsea 0, Wolves 1. Chelsea have a free kick about 5 or 6 yards out from the far edge of the penalty area. Hazard's picked himself up to take it, bends it in, decent delivery, but Willy Boly gets there ahead of Rudiger and ahead of Loftus-Cheek and heads it to safety. Wolves with a chance to counter-attack again. Diego Jota to Jimenez on the far side, outnumbered 2-1. Raul Jimenez, the man who scored the goal of the game so far. Slightly fortuitous deflected effort off Azpilicueta about 10 minutes ago. And that is the difference between the two sides at the moment. Wolves on track maybe for that league double for the first time in 45 years against Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi has been fouled. There was a brief pause, but Chelsea do have a free kick. Johnny Otto bringing him down. Hudson-Odoi takes it himself, but the options in front of him, I've got to say, are pretty limited. And David Luiz is calling out, asking for options. He wanted to play a long ball, but there was no outlet.
Yeah, again, Wolves so compact in there. I've not seen a Chelsea team create so little. I don't think in a Premier League home game this season there's been 2 or 3 half chances for Higuain, but other than that they've not been able to build ahead of steam and really put the opposition under pressure. It's a concern, I look at it and I just think, why can't he just put Kante in there with Jorginho? You could play Loftus-Cheek as a 10 just to get someone in and around Higuain.
Barkley obviously offers a slightly different threat as well.
Possibly. I mean, the cameras are picking up Giroud at the moment. I mean, Higuain is still looking threatening, isn't he? And I don't imagine he's ever going to go to a 2.
Not those two.
No.
They don't have enough variety between them today.
Maybe 5 minutes to go, Russ, but it's not something you see invariably in the Premier League, let alone Chelsea, the way that they're set up at the moment under Sarri. I'd just like to see him do something just to make Nuno work for his money, because at the moment they're very comfortable.
James Benitez is listening whilst in church in Atlanta, Georgia. He says, "Shh, I'm quietly celebrating Liverpool's win over Burnley, listening to you." And come on, Wolves, you've got us on in your earpiece while in church. Fair play, James Benitez. Atlanta, Georgia, we respect your commitment to both things, to the good Lord and indeed to the Premier League. Spot on. Here's N'Golo Kante out to the far side to Hudson-Odoi, right-footed. Good looking delivery as far as Higuain, who flashes a header across goal. It's wide and it's kept in play in the end by Loftus-Cheek on the far side, who immediately has 2 Wolves defenders around him. Right edge of the penalty area. Emerson back to Loftus-Cheek, back to Luiz, who again is just saying, give me options. He's forced to play a short flat pass as far as Hazard, still on the left edge of the box. Then Donker sticking with Hazard, his compatriot. Hazard with a lovely drag back to keep the ball in place. Space now for Emerson to put in the cross. It's a poor cross though, it's nowhere near Hudson-Odoi. Rudiger goes for the pile driver, takes a deflection off Saiss, shot from Loftus-Cheek, saved by Rui Patricio.
Yeah, plenty behind it from Rudiger. Not entirely sure it was going on target, but again, Loftus-Cheek, he's in the 18-yard box. He reacts quicker than the Wolves defence and able to stab something of an effort goalwards, but
wasn't a million miles away, the shot, I'll give him that.
No, it was well struck, wasn't it? But Patricio equal to Loftus-Cheek, his little stab finish.
And Moutinho with the block. How many times, Sam, have we seen Wolves players throw their bodies on the line and block shots? We've seen loads of them, and they're often blocking them straight at source, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're not even letting it travel and Patricio be called into action. So far it's been defensively an outstanding display. Yes, they've not shown loads going the other way, but the all-important thing is they had one counter-attack that paid off.
Willian is about to be the 3rd Chelsea sub as Hudson-Odoi tries to slide one through to Azpilicueta on the overlap. Doesn't work, and Wolves are just more than happy to boot the ball downfield at this point.
Not that, but I do like it about them, mate. It's a real unique way of playing Wolves, because they do go back to front quite quickly, but it's with real quality from two outstanding ball strikers in Neves and Cody. It's what an asset to have in your side.
Absolutely. So Willian will come on in a moment. We'll see for who in just a second. Rangers trickling down a little bit from the far stand side. Emerson up against Neves. Was that a foul on Emerson? It was. Then Donker's brought him down, and again it's a free kick in the promising area, but Chelsea just haven't made the most of their dead ball opportunities. Scrappy kind of bit of a bitty game. You need to make these set pieces count, and they haven't.
They haven't to this point. Chelsea got so many quality players, it just takes one moment, and another opportunity here. I mean, it's ironic cheering there for Jorginho, which doesn't sit well. I mean, it seemed to be changing the last few weeks. They've been quite supportive of him, but
35 million quid, wasn't he? Not really lived up to it.
He hasn't. Adapting to the Premier League. It's obviously the way he plays is quite laboured. It's not the tempo of a lot of midfield players maybe in this country, but I think the last few weeks he's been getting better, and certainly that relationship with Higuain's been obvious to me.
Willian on, he will take the free kick. He bends it in, and it was not the best of deliveries once more. It was cleared by Wolves by Johnny Otto.
Well, they're pleased because it means that Kante's going to go and play in his old position, if you like.
This is true, because you'd have now effectively three behind the front man and then two deep lying midfielders, which is a formation I think many fans would say is the best one and the one that Chelsea sit more happily with, rather than these three kind of static players all effectively holding in midfield, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'll just wait and see how it settles down, see if there's a change in the system, but yeah, certainly Kante will go into Jorginho's role a little bit deeper, break up the play, and it's more attacking now.
And you'll have William, Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek all pushing on behind Higuain to just try and unlock the door to this Wolves defence, but at the moment the door is firmly shut. Premier League Live, 72 on the clock, Chelsea 0, Wolves 1. Could be a big result in this battle for top four. Remember, Arsenal and Man United play later, just under an hour's time. That's our final commentary game of the day on Premier League Live. We've seen Spurs lose this weekend. Chelsea with a game in hand of all of them, two in hand of Spurs. This was their chance to really make a big statement in the top four battle. This is more like it from the Blues. Long ball forward, Hazard heads it down neatly to Loftus-Cheek, who nearly lost it but did well under pressure from Dendoncker to keep hold of the ball. He finds Willian, who crosses early. This cross is deflected behind for a throw by Matt Doherty. 15 shots Chelsea have had to Wolves' 1, but 15 shots means nothing when you're peppering them from all sorts, and they're either being blocked, they're wide, or they're lacking conviction, and that generally has been the case, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. I mean, they've not cut through Wolves at all. There's not been an opportunity where you say the Chelsea player should have scored. There's been 3 or 4 half chances for Higuain because he's quality.
Yeah.
He works the goalkeeper from tough angles, but no, they've not played through them. They've not had a great opportunity from a set piece. I think Wolves will look back upon this, if it remains like this, as quite a comfortable shutout.
Bit of a badge of honour, I think, for the boys from the Black Country, potentially. Only 1 defeat in 7, but they do give a free kick away there. Jean Martinho has brought down Eden Hazard. It's about midway inside the Wolves' half. It'll be a free kick on this near stand side, which Hazard himself will take in a second. Only 2 away clean sheets in the Premier League season for Wolves, looking for a third. As the ball takes a deflection, it spirals up as far as David Luiz. Johnny Otto tried to block the cross and I think inadvertently made it harder for his teammates, but Luiz couldn't get a meaningful header away. Willian finds Loftus-Cheek. Good opportunity here for Loftus-Cheek. Couldn't get his shot away. He's fouled. Is there a play for advantage? They could have, but in the end, referee calls back for the foul. Willy Bowley bringing down Loftus-Cheek. And again, you talk about these good professional fouls from a Wolves point of view. That was probably another one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clear foul, an opportunity for Willian, fresh off that goal in the Europa League in the week. And this is probably as attacking as I've seen Maurizio Sarri go in his whole tenure at Chelsea so far. Kante and Loftus-Cheek in the middle now, and it's almost the front four. I think Hazard just playing in off Higuain, Hudson-Odoi and William wide.
They've got nothing to lose.
He doesn't even do this though, Russ, when they're trailing in games.
They've got nothing to lose at this point.
Something's changing. He knows that he can't be so consistent in playing the 4-3-3. So he's altered, and maybe this will be a turning point. I thought the Manchester City Cup game was going to be a turning point, but this is going to be a step back again today if they are to lose this one.
Chelsea free kick. It's about 2 yards from the edge of the D, so about 30 yards out. 3 players over the ball: Willian, Emerson and David Luiz. I think Willian fancies this. Right-footed curling effort. I think it was on target, clipped the wall, and in the end spiralled over Patricio's bar for a corner. Not a bad strike. Twice now the Wolves wall has done its job.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed. Like I said, got that fantastic strike on Thursday evening, but looked like it was goal bound. They jumped, didn't they, the Wolves wall, made themselves big, and big deflection taking it over.
So 16 shots to 1, 9 corners to 0. This is the night. Swung in, headed clear by Jimenez for another corner. 10 corners to 0. All these stats dominated, but if you're not doing anything with it, Wolves will be more than happy.
Yeah, well, that was a better defensive header from the centre forward in the near post. The previous one nearly led to a tap-in for Higuain, but does his job there, heads it into those Chelsea fans.
Willian taking over the corner duties. Dangerous looking delivery. Higuain was ghosting in at the far post, praying it would drop to him. But Rui Patricio just watched the ball come in and claimed it well. Patricio, normally the Premier League keeper for Wolves. John Ruddy's been playing in the Cup and was given a run out in the league last time out, I think with the Cup in mind. So obviously Wolves have got Man United in the quarter-finals next weekend, haven't they?
They have, yeah. I mean, it's he's been excellent, hasn't he, Patricio? Again, we spoke about those signings.
Ball through, Kepa has to react quickly. Chelsea's defence statuesque, and from the far side, ball was threaded through to Diogo Jota, who nearly sneaked through for a cheeky little one-on-one, but Kepa Arrizabalaga read it and got there. Hudson-Odoi does well up against Otto, beats him. Now up against Charles Martinho, and Hudson-Odoi this time overeggs the pudding, gives the ball away, and Rudiger brings down his man. Foul on Jota. Yellow card for the German.
Yeah, no complaints. Great play from Jota. Hudson-Odoi has given it away a couple of times, hasn't he, since he's come on? Really good play from Jota, getting his team up the pitch.
Played for it slightly, but he knew exactly what he was doing, didn't he?
Yeah, and winning a crucial foul. I mean, I forgot about that Manchester United game. I mean, with that on the horizon as well, even more impressive a display like this, to maintain the standards in the Premier League when effectively it's an outside chance of Europe for finishing 7th, but to keep churning out these outstanding displays, it's phenomenal with the size of the squad as well.
Yeah, Nuno Espirito Santo basically played the weakened lineup with all due respect in the win against Cardiff, and he's now gone back to his strongest lineup for this game, and I suspect will stick with it, give or take, for the Cup as well, because it's something that they know is a very key opportunity. Plus then there's a few more days break afterwards for everyone to rest and recuperate, so maybe good squad management for a man, as we've said, who only likes to operate with quite a constrained nucleus and doesn't like to give too many squad players their chance.
Yeah, and when they had that dip earlier on in the season, I think we all felt they were going to fall away. So I think it was actually the Chelsea game that got them their first win in 5 or 6.
He spoke about that very thing in the build-up. He says that December win was so important. It ended what for us was a very bad moment and ended the bad run that we had.
Yeah, and to kick on again and to be on the on the verge of latter stages of the Cup competition and finishing in the top half, it would be a phenomenal achievement, especially when you look, when we spoke earlier, about what's happened at Fulham.
Luiz is down holding his face here. Inadvertent clash, I think, no more with Diogo Jota. Jota and Luiz are getting back up to their feet. I think Jota might be going into the book potentially. Might have another look at this. So they're fighting for the ball on this near stand side. Luiz heads it away, and Jota's head's turned. It's not deliberate, but he does catch him, doesn't he, with his leading arm?
It's dangerous, isn't it? It's sore. I don't think it was deliberate, but
yellow card probably right.
Yeah, it's probably right.
79 played. Remember, Premier League preview show podcast, the best way to look ahead to any Premier League weekend. Download it every Thursday ahead of the weekend action. We approach 80. Sam Parkin alongside me, the former Chelsea midfielder. Great to have your company on Premier League Live, where Chelsea need to pull something out of the fire. 10 to go, 3 subs used. Do they have the answers to at least get a point against Wolves? Gut reaction? Well, I don't think they will. I think Wolves are going to hold on at this point.
I mean, the concentration and the organisation, nothing's changed really in terms of Chelsea being able to breach Wolves' defence, they've been very comfortable, you have to say, even with the changes. I mean, he's only just tweaked the system, so let's see if that has any bearing, but for the moment, Wolves very comfortable.
Jimenez neatly dispossessed by Loftus-Cheek on the far side. That was good football from the England midfielder. Hudson-Odoi, 1-2 with Azpilicueta. Hudson-Odoi's options again are limited. Static football from Chelsea, no real runners, no real outlet for Hudson-Odoi. He picks it back up, but he's hurried into a pass, and that pass doesn't find its intended target of Eden Hazard. Bowley comes in for the challenge, it comes off him, so at least Chelsea get the throw. We're about to see another Wolves replacement. Onto the field will come Morgan Gibbs-White, rising young star, and off will go Diogo Jota, who has done his job today and is getting a rapturous reception from the Wolves fans in the corner. He's a real fan favourite, Diogo Jota.
Better in the second half. I thought he was on the periphery of the game in the first 45 minutes, and Gibbs-White, I mean, again, you talk about that awareness I was speaking about of Hudson-Odoi. He was phenomenal in this reverse fixture. He looks like a really exciting talent. Similar player to Jota, actually. Really good, carrying the ball up the pitch, evading challenges. Someone perfect to bring on in the late stage of the game.
81 on the clock. Chelsea 0, Wolves 1. Premier League Live. Chelsea, having ridden that storm of a poor run of results and all the pressure on Maurizio Sarri, look to be back on top of it all. Those questions might re-emerge at this stage. Here's Emerson with a hopeful cross from the far side, blocked by Ruben Neves too. Morgan Gibbs-White, whose first touch is delightful as he beats Loftus-Cheek and takes on Rudiger. Morgan Gibbs-White wearing 17, looking excellent with the ball at his feet there. Tries to flick it inside Rudiger once more. That one doesn't quite work, but full of confidence and tricks and ingenuity, he's taken the game at least deep back into the Chelsea half, which is exactly what Wolves need.
Yeah, just a glimpse. He's got lovely touch, he's got lovely balance, and that was a really good bit of play, just poor control in the end.
Good counter-attack from Chelsea for a second as Hazard feeds Kante, and talk about whether or not Kante can play in a more advanced draw. I know he's been sitting back in the recent few minutes, but as he surged forward there, he just didn't have the awareness and didn't see the tackle was coming in from his right.
Yeah, and there was a moment early on in the game, in the second half, when I think Azpilicueta had a strike and Kante miskicked one as well, and it's just those moments in the game. They're big moments. You've got someone like, I know, Harbour over after the pass, but a Lampard, a Ballack, a goal scorer and attacking midfield player. They're going to hit the target invariably from those situations. He's not natural, creating. He's got better, but creating or scoring goals, it's never going to be a big part of his game, I don't believe.
A lot of people would say, if you've got an outstanding world beater in a certain position, who's a double Premier League winner with two different clubs doing that very thing, why change it? Well, that is what Maurizio Sarri has tried to do, and Hudson-Odoi is getting frustrated, brings down Willy Bowley, screams in the air and clenches his fist. It's not worked for Hudson-Odoi so far since he's come on in this game, has it?
It's not at all, no. His touch has evaded him on a couple of occasions. He's not really had a chance, because Wolves do drop back into a 5, don't they? I mean, it's pretty much a back 5 away from home, with Johnny and Doherty just filling in alongside the 3 centre halves, and it's been tough because they double up on the wide players, especially now Chelsea are chasing the game. But yeah, he's not I think Loftus-Cheek has had a decent impact.
Through ball from Doherty to Jimenez, who was just offside. Raul Jimenez, by the way, the goal scorer in the game, has equalled Wolves' Premier League goal scoring record for a single season. Stephen Fletcher had 12 Premier League goals several years ago when Wolves were last up. Jimenez has now hit 14 in all comps and 12 in the Premier League. He's equalled that record. Fair play to him.
He's been brilliant. A bit of a slow start, but the last month or two he's been first class. Been really impressive. His all-round game today as well. It's a tireless task, I would imagine, coming up against top 4, top 6 sides away from home, but he's led the line brilliantly.
Now 6 goals, 2 assists in his last 8 Premier League games. A fine return. Chelsea on the ball, but again just playing it around in a fairly ineffective manner, and Luiz again just gesticulating to his teammates saying, give me options, give me movement. Nothing's forthcoming. Wolves counter-attack again through Jimenez, who tries to play an early ball to the sub Morgan Gibbs-White, who continues to look lively. Kepa gets the ball and has it under pressure up against Jimenez, but the Spaniard does all right and eventually manages to guide the ball to Hudson-Odoi. He's got Johnny Otto breathing down his neck. Hudson-Odoi with good strength to get it back to Kepa Arrizabalaga. Chelsea come forward through Ruben Loftus-Cheek. They're needing it quickly this time. Loftus-Cheek juggles the ball from left to right, cuts in field by the edge of the D to Louise, and Chelsea just need to keep the momentum of this attack going. Willian tries to do that thing by playing a little 1-2 with Hazard. This is better. Hazard beats one man, can't beat a second. Ruben Neves with the challenge, and another promising Chelsea move breaks down. Blues pick it up again. 85 on the clock. Chelsea 0, Wolves 1 on Premier League Live. Spilicueta to Hudson-Odoi in front of our vantage point. Cuts inside and beats Otto. Now runs at Gibbs-White. Two England youngsters up against each other. That was better from Hudson-Odoi. Emerson's delivery is a good one. Shot from Higuain. Guess what? Blocked by the Wolves defence. Something we've said so many times in this commentary. Wolves force Chelsea back again. Still inside the Wolves half. Emerson to the far stand side, to the left to Willian. Could have run at his man, but went infield to Emerson instead. Hazard picks it up, surveys his options. Clever, astute curling ball to Spilicueta. Tries to cushion it down, but doesn't control it brilliantly. And the ball's all the way back to Antonio Rudiger on halfway. Spilicueta again. So all a little bit laboured and a bit huff and puff from Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi shows good strength against Otto. That was more like it. Galvanises the crowd for a second. Sammy, what are we watching here? What's going to happen? We need something magical.
Well, they need to move it quicker, Chelsea, or they need one of their players to provide a little bit of inspiration, some individual brilliance. At the moment, Wolves dealing with everything Chelsea have got.
More space on the overlap this time for Emerson, who's found by Willian. Back to the Brazilian. Jinx right, left, curling effort, wonderful save. That's more like it from Chelsea. Willian tried to bend it into the corner. Patricio saw it early, claws it away for a corner. Closest Chelsea have come for several minutes.
Yeah, a yard higher, it probably nestles in that far corner. No one's better than that than Willian. Shifting it quickly, so difficult to stop. Good save.
Corner from the far side. Rudiger was up there. As far as Emerson's pile driver, blocked by the Wolves defence again. Saiss, I think it was, who came charging out and made the block. Smacked him full on the forehead, but he's right back up onto his feet already. All hands to the pump as Chelsea come forward. Emerson's ball this time is poor. Last one was good. That one was disappointing. Tell you what, the replay of Willian's shot, you don't see from our angle side on the dip on it from behind. It just showed how much that was dipping and how Patricio had to realign his arm at the last minute as he pushed it wide.
Yeah, very good stop. You would expect the keeper to make the save, but like I said, Willian gets his strikes away so quickly, manoeuvres it away from his marker. Like I said, no one does it better from a standing start as well. And the goalkeeper equal to it on that occasion.
Effort Yor has tweeted in at TalkSport Live. Happy, he says, as a Man United fan to be seeing Chelsea losing this game. Awal Decimo says Arsenal have been written off but will surprise the world again. So Arsenal and Man United fans listening in ahead of their game. Very happy with how this one is panning out. I can tell you that the goal scorer Jimenez is being taken off now to be replaced by a man that we said has underperformed since being the record acquisition for the club, Adama Traore. He comes onto the field for the final few minutes. A little cameo for the man with a shock of dyed peroxide hair to try and prove his worth. I know that Nuno Espirito Santo a couple of times has publicly called for his man to do more. And he's going to get an early first touch, is Traore. He's up against David Luiz in the far corner after good work from Morgan Gibbs-White. In the end, a combination of Luiz and Emerson get it away. Clever crossfield ball from Willian. That was good. He's done really well since coming on, Willian. Rasping effort a moment to go and finding a much needed gap on the field for Chelsea to attack from. It's Spilicueta to Callum Hudson-Odoi. Clever delivery from him. Looks for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. The delivery just ahead of Loftus-Cheek. Couldn't quite get his header on target. And Wolves get it clear once more.
Yeah, better, good delivery from the right hand side, and Loftus-Cheek again making a positive run, just cannot connect with the header. But yeah, throwing caution to the wind now, and with Traore going the other way, maybe an opportunity for Wolves to just put gloss on this performance.
Foster Daniki, we are all tired of Sarri ball. Chelsea fans not happy with this. Temi saying, can't wait for this one to be over. Chelsea haven't taken their chances. Good game for Wolves, they deserve the win. As Spilicueta from distance, it's desperate stuff now from Chelsea. Shot reined in and blocked by Willy Bowling. Chelsea just trying anything at the moment now. Emerson going on a mazy run. Why not? Beats 2 players. Can't quite beat a third, but he keeps hold of it. Edge of the area once more. Willian up against Leander Dendoncker. Dendoncker putting his body on the line and trying to pressurise Chelsea into another mistake. Good through ball from Willian to Hazard. It's an acute angle. Tight space from which Hazard needs to work. Infield to Kante. Short pass to Higuain, edge of the area. Gonzalo Higuain to Loftus-Cheek. It's opening up, it takes a deflection. And it's wide of goal in the end from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Pulled the trigger. Didn't quite catch it fully. I think it may have taken a deflection en route again. Opened up for a moment for the Blues. Nothing doing.
A little bit hesitant, maybe getting a strike away with his left foot. Thought he was going to try and engineer it onto his stronger side, but just charged down anyway.
It is a corner. Hudson-Odoi takes this one. It's cleared well by Conor Coady. The scissor kick clearance picked up by Willian. Curling effort from Willian, and that's great defending from Wolves. Huge amounts of pressure on Dendoncker. He's claiming he was shoved in the back, possibly by Rudiger arriving late. Wolves really putting their bodies on the line, but it's another corner taken quickly by Loftus-Cheek. Infield, 4 additional minutes. We're into the first of them. Hazard into the corner! What a goal from Eden Hazard! That was brilliant from the Belgian. Chelsea have huffed and puffed, and out of nowhere, an inkling, a tiny gap in the corner, and Hazard sent a low curling effort beyond Patricio into the left corner of the net. That is brilliant from the little maestro, and it's Chelsea 1, Wolves 1.
Well, I was going to say the Dendoncker header from the delivery was probably going to be the moment that earned them the points, but just a little bit slow, Neves. Maybe a bit easy to allow Hazard to wriggle away from him, but credit the finish from Hazard. Fingertips from Patricio down to his left-hand side, but cannot claw enough on the ball to take it away from the target. It's a fantastic strike.
That was absolutely brilliant. Can Chelsea now go on and win it? They've scored in the second minute of time added on. Can they score in the third? Ball whipped across from Hudson-Odoi. There were 3 Chelsea players up there, and Ramon Saiz gets it half clear. Still the ball is loose. Shot from Rudiger, who's falling as he tries to fire it in. That was away for a goal kick. It is all happening at the Bridge in the end. Boy, this game has been a slow burner. We've been treated to a cracking final half hour. Jimenez's goal, drama at both ends, and a moment of brilliance from Hazard. But 90 seconds to go, Sam. Have we got a winner in this one?
Well, great finish. Chelsea coming on really strong. Only takes a moment. Said it about 15 minutes ago. They've got so many quality players. Just showing it again on the monitor. Maybe the goalkeeper a little bit unsighted by the presence of Rudiger. Maybe that's something that will be talked about after. Not for me. Brilliant strike from Hazard, and I think a draw. Don't want to talk too early. I think a draw is probably the right result. As good as Wolves have been defensively, I don't think they've done enough really to say that they deserve the 3 points.
Yeah, Chelsea have dominated so many stats in the game. I do understand your point. We've got 1 additional minute. At one end, Wolves tried to attack, but Morgan Gibbs-White was offside. At the other, Chelsea have got 1 more chance. Impudent backheel from the goal scorer Hazard to Loftus-Cheek, who cuts in field. Good tackle from Jean Moutinho. Wolves could maybe counter-attack themselves 1 more time through Adama Traore, who's fouled on the far side by N'Golo Kante. Shoves him in the back. That's what referee Michael Oliver says, and Wolves have got 1 more free kick about 10 yards inside the Chelsea half. About 30 seconds of time added on to go on Premier League Live. Chelsea 1, Wolves 1. Lump this one in the box. What do you do from here?
I wouldn't imagine so, Russ. I think they'll take what they've got now. She says, look, they're going for it.
I think they are going to lump it in. They're sending the big men up.
Was he going to poke it down the line? Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Sam Parkin was absolutely spot on. They're going to need up a few more seconds. Here's Adama Traore, beats 2 players, has a shot, takes a deflection. Deflection was off with another Wolves shirt though, so it's going to be a goal kick. And there's the final whistle. There's no additional time at the end of the 4 minutes. In the end, we were treated to a pretty barnstorming finale here on Premier League Live. 1-1 between the teams 6th and 7th in the Premier League. We'll properly get our thoughts on it all in a couple of seconds' time. But opening goal fired home from Raul Jimenez midway through the second half, deep into injury time. A moment of magic from Eden Hazard makes it 1 apiece. Sam, that's full time on Premier League Live, 1-1. How do you sum that one up?
Well, very much a slow burner, Russ. Not a great spectacle. Chelsea It was reminiscent of a lot of their performances early part of the season. The home performances too predictable. I think Wolves came for a point, and they got it. They'll be disappointed. I'll be disappointed in that dressing room that they've been able to hang on. But on reflection, because Chelsea probed, kept knocking on the door, I think the draw was the right result, all considered.
1-1 it finished. Let's bring you a reminder of all the key moments as they played out here at Stamford Bridge. Premier League Live. Another good counter-attack here from Wolves, which is much more like it. Diogo Jota's got Jimenez inside, it opens up! And it's into the back of the net. It took a double deflection, it took an eternity, and the ball trickles into the back of the net. I'm pretty sure it will be Jimenez's goal. It's his 14th of the season, and the Wolves striker runs to celebrate with his teammates, and the Wolves fans in the corner. And finally, Wolves blow this game wide open at the Bridge. 55 on the clock. Chelsea 0, Wolves 1. Decent effort. Pedro scored plenty of goals this season, 9 in total. Looking for his 10th. Hazard's delivery is another dangerous one. Higuain can't quite poke it home. I think it is another corner at least. Hazard spot on with his delivery there. The ball flashing just past the goal line. Missed everybody. Flicked off one Wolves defender. Higuain couldn't convert at the far post.
Yeah, there was one in the first half, wasn't there, from Filiqueta flick. That actually comes off Jimenez. And just Higuain can't react in time, which would have been a really simple opportunity to poke over the line.
More space on the overlap this time for Emerson, who's found by Willian. Back to the Brazilian. Jigs right, left, curling effort, wonderful save. That's more like it from Chelsea. Willian tried to bend it into the corner. Patricio saw it early. Claws for a corner. Closest Chelsea have come for several minutes.
Yeah, a yard higher, it probably nestles in that far corner. No one's better than that than Willian. Shifting it quickly. So difficult to stop. Good save.
Infield, 4 additional minutes. We're into the first of them. Hazard into the corner. What a goal from Eden Hazard. That was brilliant from the Belgian. Chelsea have huffed and puffed, and out of nowhere, an inkling, a tiny gap in the corner, and Hazard sent a low curling effort beyond Patricio into the left corner of the net. That is brilliant from the little maestro, and it's Chelsea 1, Wolves 1.
Well, I was going to say the Dendoncker header from the delivery was probably going to be the moment that earned them the points, but just a little bit slow, Neves. Maybe a bit easy to allow Hazard to wriggle away from him. But credit the finish from Hazard. Fingertips from Patricio down to his left-hand side. Cannot claw enough on the ball to take it away from the target. It's a fantastic strike.
Wow, 1-1 in the end. Eden Hazard's cracking strike, opportunistic, as we ticked into the second minute of time added on after Raul Jimenez's 14th of the season appeared to have won it for Wolves. Not in the end. Still though, only the two Manchester sides and Arsenal with a better record over the last 8 games than Wolves. They stay 7th, 44 points from 30 games. Sam Parkin alongside me. So Sam, Chelsea 29 played, 57 points. Arsenal 29 played, 57 points. Man United 29 played, 58 points. And then Spurs have played a game more, 30, 61 points. It is really tight, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Chelsea, I'm sure, kicking themselves they didn't win today. Not sure they deserved to, but it's all to play for, isn't it, in this fight for 3rd and 4th?
Oh, it is. There's going to be so many twists and turns. I wouldn't want to make a definitive prediction at the moment, but what I will say is Chelsea missed a real opportunity now to put pressure on the other two. Tough game next up away at Everton, but with Cardiff and West Ham on the horizon after that, I'd expect them to take maximum points. They're going to be in the mix, but with displays like that, it's hard for me to envisage Chelsea putting together a run of victories which is going to cement a top 4 position. I really don't believe they've got the momentum at the moment to overpower the North London teams and Manchester United, the vein of form that they're in.
What's frustrating is they had 76% possession. They had 22 shots to Wolves' 2, 6 on target to Wolves' 1, 13 corners to Wolves' 0. Yet they're living off scraps and pinching a draw right at the end. How concerned are you by maybe that lack of flexibility and that lack of variety that the manager is employing at the moment?
Well, you have to be. I thought they had all the possession today, and for for all of that, the way they probed in front of Wolves, they tried to move them about. They were ever so comfortable. I can't remember a Premier League game at Stamford Bridge in recent history when they haven't really carved open the opposition and carved out a great chance on the goal. It was all speculative shots from distance, scrambled clearances from a Wolves perspective from set pieces, and it took a moment of brilliance. We were waiting for that, Russ, weren't we, in the second half? Who's going to be the one to get Chelsea out of jail? And so often it's Eden Hazard. Again, that's the case today. But no, it's a real concern, because that was a performance that we were seeing regularly a month, 2 months ago, and I thought they just turned a corner in the last few games, but that was as bad as I've seen Chelsea at the Bridge. It was a real lacklustre performance. With that, credit Wolves. Yeah, you have to credit the doggedness of their defending, but really this was a team that came to be conservative, maybe nick a point. Best case scenario, you nick something on the break, and they very, very nearly pulled it off.
Give you a bit of headline team news for our 4:30 commentary game UK time, so in just under half an hour's time, with John Anderson, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Mesut Ozil starting for Arsenal. Paul Pogba back for Manchester United, Diego Dalot and Nemanja Matic have been an injury concern starting for Manchester United. In light of everything we've said about this fight for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th for the two final Champions League spots, what's your gut reaction how our final live game of the day is going to go?
Oh, very difficult. I think Manchester United, just because I just spoke about momentum there, so if they can maintain that and start fast for us, if they get the first goal, I think it could be a difficult afternoon for Arsenal, but you can't write off a club of that ilk at home in front of their own supporters, even on the back of a really difficult week. You never know what Arsenal's going to turn up. I wouldn't be surprised if their big hitters put on a real display today. But I think that first goal, massive. If United get it, I expect them to continue in this amazing run that they're on.
So in the 11s, we'll have Rashford, Lukaku and Pogba up against Aubameyang, Lacazette and Ozil.
I didn't know Lacazette
very,
as well.
very interesting indeed. That's our 4:30 commentary game. Quick word about the fight at the top of the table, if we can. So obviously Liverpool getting their victory in the end against Burnley in our first commentary game of the day. Behind at one point, then pegged back a bit, but a couple of goals for Mane, a couple for Firmino. What do you make of Liverpool today, and what statement they've tried to make?
Well, good today on the back of a difficult run when they've obviously dropped quite a lot of points, and I wouldn't say there's been a lot of criticism, but there's been question marks about potentially Jurgen Klopp being a bit more gung-ho in certain games to get them maximum points. I still feel City are going to have too much, Russ. That's been my opinion, I think, throughout the season. I've tried to come up with something complicated as to my reasons behind that. I just think there's a bit more strength in the midfield area is what I point towards. I think, yes, at the top end of the pitch Liverpool are fantastic and as fluid as anyone when those guys are on song, but I think there's just more options across the middle in the likes of Gundogan and the Silvas and such like. I think Liverpool are just a little bit light in that area in terms of creativity, and I think that's been the problem, especially you look back at Goodison last week, games like that when I think Manchester City would have found a way to create more chances. I think Liverpool just found wanting in that area somewhat.
So Liverpool 73 points from 30 games, Man City 74 from 30, and a superior goal difference, plus 58 to the Reds, plus 51. That's where the title race lies. Liverpool victorious earlier, Man City winning yesterday, very controversial opener as they eventually down Watford. That was one of several pretty exciting and pretty eventful games of Saturday. Let's remind you of how the rest of the action played out from yesterday on Premier League Live.
Glenn Murray goes for goal, and he finds the net in sensational fashion. Hosanic takes the Palace captain, steps up to the ball now, and strokes it into the corner, and Palace are back level again. To the area, on his left foot. Curly one, oh, it's a stunner! Anthony Knockout is right in the lead again. Set one up, Kane goes and scores! Dele Alli and Harry Kane combining. Now then, Armstrong cuts it in, chance, must be, and Harry has scored for the second.
By Junior Hoylett. Paul Murphy heads it down, Camarasa trying to turn it in, and he does, and Cardiff lead 2-0.
Running up the heart of the town defence, back through to Fraser, left hand side of the box, could he shoot? He does! But it's a cross through though, towards Wilson. Fraser! 2-0 for Bournemouth. Another through ball, picked out Vardy, through, easier. Space, looked around the goalkeeper, it falls to Tielemans and just taps it into the goal. That was so easy. Place for a shot, oh, it's a comedy of errors at the back for Leicester City.
And Bonucci has cut inside Chilwell, cut inside Maguire, and then hit the most timid of shot of early season. Oh, the ball through now to Vardy. Again, defenders split. Vardy up top early, and he shoots and scores. Too often this has happened today. Jamie Vardy plays it across to Vardy. Vardy hits it low,